Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to Wrestling Days Live. We are live for this week's Smackdown, and what a Smackdown this promises to be. This is going to be huge. The reason why I say that is because last week and the week before, I think even the week before that, were all great shows. Smackdown is really on a roll at the moment. But not only that, we've got some great matches lined up for tonight, including Jeff Hardy taking on AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. We're going to see the new friend in the Firefly Funhouse, which we believe is going to be a puppet. I think we can say that with confidence now because of the fact that the preview keeps talking about Bray's newest creation. So it's something that Bray has created. So I'm guessing it's going to be a puppet. And wobbly walrus is certainly a term that's doing the rounds. So I kind of feel like we're heading in that way with the Firefly Funhouse. We got Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles. You got to know that Sami Zayn is going to get involved in there somewhere. And then, of course, Bayley, with her brutal attack of Sasha Banks last week, means that we're going to hear from Bayley tonight. We're going to find out what's really going on. What has she really been thinking all this time? It was brilliant. One of my favourite moments of the year was her turning on Sasha. We'd waited and waited and waited and waited and waited, and when it finally happened, they did it so well. They really did it so well. So, I'm really up for it. I'm really excited. They're doing a really great job with SmackDown. I keep getting asked all week, what's your favourite show? What's your favourite show? And my answer's been very consistent. My favourite show is SmackDown at the moment. I'm so on board with it. So excited about it. There's quite a bit of news for us to talk about as well. Loads of stuff for us to go through, actually. So we're going to have no problem talking for the next hour until SmackDown begins. And then when SmackDown does, as we said, it should be a very interesting show. Hayden Garrett says, "Hi Days, how are you doing?" How you doing? I'm good, thank you. Yeah, really good, as I was saying, just proper excited. Before we do get stuck in, let me just give a shout out to Insiders. I try to jump over there, especially on a Friday, because I love Brandy, and I love what Jeff and those guys do with the hot tag. They have a little hour-long episode where they look at a different wrestler each week, and this week, one of my favourites, Sensational Sherry, and it was such an interesting conversation that they were having. So I was giving that a listen whilst I was setting up the stream and everything. It was really good. So shout out to them. And as we said, we've got loads coming up. After the stream as well, we do have a new Wrestling Escape pod. I'm sure DJ B Tazzy streaming tonight. He normally streams, doesn't he? His after show party and everything. So plenty going on tonight. Plenty going on. Let's try and jump into the chat. Say hello to a few people. We've got Julie. Shout out to you. Yes, Sonny. Yes. Saying about 9/11, of course, absolutely in our thoughts today. There's been a lot of people. I was thinking, should I put some in the background or whatever, but I knew that we would end up mentioning it. I think it's been spoken a lot today about that, but it's right that we mention it at the start of the show. Obviously, it is the anniversary of 9/11, and absolutely, it's been in my thoughts today. I don't think anyone, if you was around, I mean, it's amazing to think it was 19 years ago. So there's going to be a fair few people in the chat that weren't even born when that happened, and that's kind of mind-blowing to me, let me tell you. Because I think we all remember where we were when it happened, and one of those. It's such a big event that you kind of I very much have, like, before 9/11 and after 9/11. It felt like it changed a lot of things, and Yeah, can't believe it's been 19 years. Really can't believe it's been 19 years. And just to kind of bring it back to wrestling, not that we have to, but just to bring it back to wrestling, Zelina Vega's dad was someone that actually passed away on that day. And his name is actually written at Ground Zero. There's a picture that she's tweeted out. I don't know if she's tweeted it today, but I have seen it from previous years of her at Ground Zero standing by her father's name. So, and I've heard stories. I think they might have been on the Bruce Pritchard's podcast. In fact, I'm sure it was something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. And he was saying what it was actually like to be in WWE on that day as the news was breaking through, where they were when it came through. I think they were in Vince's hotel room, and I think they were down in Texas at the time. And I know Bruce said that he was a bit distracted because his wife was going through cancer and cancer treatments and everything. And it's so interesting, like hearing him talking about how that day unfolded and what was happening in WWE. Because WWE had one of the first big gatherings of people after 9/11. I believe that it was a couple of days later. Just a few days later, because obviously all major events were cancelled at that point. But WWE was one of, I don't know if it was the, but it was one of the first to actually have a large gathering of people again. And there's a whole, I think it was Smackdown that was the one that was after. And obviously they do a little talk at the start. I think it's from Vince. And you've got people on the ramp and wrestlers sharing their thoughts. And yeah, it's just crazy. 19 years. Matty Cliff says, Days, the hacker has followed someone on Twitter. Do you know what? It's funny you should say that, actually. I just tweeted out the link to this. And boom, DJ B Tazzy, shout out to you. Let me get to you in a second. But so, yes, I just tweeted out the link to this, and I saw in my notifications someone told me, might have been you actually, that someone's now following the hacker, or the hacker's now following someone. So, but I believe it's just someone random. I haven't had chance to look yet. So there we go. For some of you detectives out there, you might want to jump on and have a look, see who the hacker is apparently following now. It's kind of an interesting development, isn't it? DJ B Tazzy says, Days, how are you? I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really pumped up. I'm feeling quite up for tonight. Like, isn't it amazing what a really good, like, rest? Well, we don't even know if it's going to be really good, but I'm just feeling ready for, like, a really good show tonight. They've really got my hopes quite high now, because SmackDown has been consistently so good. Obviously, we should see Roman tonight as well, and the next step in his story with Jey Uso. So, yeah, some good stuff tonight. So, DJ B Tazzy says, it is a SmackDown party, baby. And yes, there is an after party tonight. But there we go. So, once we're finished, there's loads of things for you to go and enjoy. I know there's a wrestling escape pod. It's not too long tonight, actually. I think it clocks in at about 40 minutes rather than an hour. And it's all about jobbers, best jobbers. It's kind of fun. And DJ B Tazzy, I don't know what time DJ B Tazzy starts, but there's going to be plenty of options for you after SmackDown tonight. Days, I'm going to be on the Thunderdome tonight, says Rockstar Anch. Well, have fun, my friend. Have fun. Monica says his name was Michael Angel Trinidad. Well, there we go. Thank you for providing his name. It's only right that we actually name him. So, yeah, I didn't know what his name was. I just remember seeing her go into Ground Zero and pointing at his name. So there you go, Michael Angel Trinidad. Do you remember the live stream in March when we did WWE Rhymes? Do you know what? If I'm being honest, no. because that was March feels like a different life at this point. Like, I just can't even fathom that long ago. It feels like March feels like years ago. It's so weird. If you watch like the Royal Rumble where Edge came back, I would swear that wasn't this year. I would swear that wasn't this year. Because, like, there's crowds and everything looks so normal and everyone's so happy. And you just kind of go, is that 2020? That can't be 20. That is so not on brand for 2020. So, in my mind, the Royal Rumble was at the Performance Center. Everyone was crying and King Corbin won. That's 2020. So, yeah, I can't remember that long ago. Grayson, shout out to you. Roman Reigns says Ricochet needs a push. Well, he might be getting one now that they've split him up from Cedric Alexander. So, yeah, it's looking, I would say, looking better for him. I don't think he was going to get far with Cedric as a tag team. I mean, the most you can achieve is tag team titles, and being top of the card when it comes to tag teams. Have the tag titles, this is a question because I can't think, but have the tag titles ever main evented a show? Ever? I can't remember them ever main event in a pay-per-view. I can't remember them ever main event in a Smackdown or a Raw, but I'm guessing it has happened. I mean, you would imagine that they would have main evented, but just off the top of my head as I'm sitting here, if someone was to ask me that question, like I've just asked myself, I can't give you the answer. I mean, tag team wrestling is just treated awfully. Just awfully. So, but it must have, tag titles must have main evented at least Raw and SmackDown. I would have thought multiple times, but I can't remember. Probably like a New Day Usos or something, but honestly, certainly not a pay-per-view. Can anyone remember a pay-per-view? Can't remember, honestly. Revival New Day main evented last year. Was that tag title match? I'm being straight up serious. I will have streamed that because we were streaming last year. We've been streaming since 2018. I do not recall that. I do not recall that in the slightest. Anonymous J says, I was born about a week and a half before 9/11. Wow. There'll be a lot of people in the chat, actually, that, as we said, just weren't around at all. And it's kind of mind-blowing. It's such a massive event. It's hard to fathom. There's a lot of people around now that won't, I don't know if you can say won't know, really understand, but I suppose they would, but actually being there at the time and having the news coming through and everything, it was, I mean. Sean says, Dace, who do you think will join Bray in the Funhouse? Will it be Alexa, Bo, Joseph Parks as Abyss, or someone? We believe it's going to be a puppet because they keep saying new creation. So we've got Bailey addresses last week's attack. Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles. Bray Wyatt reveals his latest Firefly Funhouse creation. Now, I suppose you could say that if Alexa's embraced her dark side, could he take credit for that? Could she be classed as his creation? Maybe, but I don't think they would word it that way. So I am expecting it to be a puppet. But I don't know. I think the whole thing that's going on with the Firefly Funhouse at the moment is very, very interesting. And I'm kind of on board with seeing, what the next steps are. Downfall Wrestling says Hardy or Zayn. Sami Zayn, for me, I think is the better wrestler. I know that it's quite interesting. There's a lot of excitement on my Twitter timeline today. I must have had, honestly, more notifications about this than anything I can remember in recent times. But I had so many people getting in touch. So many people getting in touch with me about Jeff Hardy. Saying that he wants to do Willow versus The Fiend. And, man, people got so excited about that. I was getting tagged in. No word of a lie. Easy 20 messages. easy 20 messages, couple of DMs in there as well, and just like real excitement about this. So there we go. I mean, like, clearly people love Jeff Hardy, and clearly there's a desire to see Willow. For me, I'm more into Sami Zayn. I just think that he was awesome down in NXT. He had great matches against Kevin Owens. And I just think that he's more capable of giving us like a 4-5-star match than what Jeff Hardy is right now. I kind of feel like Jeff Hardy can give us a really great match. He had a really, really great match against Cesaro. I think it was on the kickoff show to WrestleMania. And it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was really, really good. But he was wrestling Cesaro. I don't know that he can really do that against people that aren't Cesaro. Whereas I feel a little more confident that Sami Zayn can give us higher quality matches on a more regular basis at this stage in their careers. I'm not saying he's the better wrestler ever overall. You know, Jeff Hardy's a legend. No denying. But I'm just saying right now, I feel that Sami Zayn is a little bit more equipped to give us consistently better matches. So I'd be leaning to more towards Sami. Mr. Rotella, shout out to you. Hope you are well. Mr. Rotella says, when will some puppets jump to AEW? Well, I should imagine that Tony Khan has already been round to the Funhouse to try and sign some up. But I don't know. I don't know that. Would they do? They would do a Funhouse type thing? I think. I could see them. I wonder if they really get on board with Abaddon, right? You've got to think that they're going to start doing some dark vignettes. They haven't really done a great deal with her yet. She's just been having like matches and coming out with like. If you've not seen her, she's super scary, right? Loads of like. How would you describe it? Loads of makeup, like her eyes are bloodshot and her face is very pale and her eyes are like dark, different colours, and like she's really freaky looking, something out of a horror film. She looks awesome. She's got a great look. She's a good wrestler from what I've seen as well. And she's picking up some wins, man. She's picking up some wins. I think she's like number 4 on the AEW women's rankings. But I haven't seen any vignettes, and I haven't seen her in any kind of feud. And she's signed. They've actually signed her, so you've got to know that all of that is coming. So I'm not going to say they're going to go down the road of puppets and things like that, but just thinking about what they could do in the future. They could do some really interesting stuff with Abaddon. And honestly, I think they should pull the trigger on that sooner rather than later, because I think it's something that would really grab a lot of attention. They've got to have seen the success of the Funhouse. And the fact that people want Willow coming back, you know, it seems like there's a bit of an appetite for that kind of more darker character now. So they would do well to pull the trigger on Abaddon. Thomas Morehouse says, Days, have you still got that T-shirt from WWE Shop? Which one, buddy? Which one? They were kind enough to send me quite a few. So, like, I don't know if you saw the video, but they sent through a few different ones. I've still got them all. So, to answer your question, yes, because I never throw anything away. So, yes, I will still have it, but I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Killer says, Sasuke says, can we ban the word jobber? People use it too much. We talk about the word jobber in the episode later, and we talk about, is it a negative term now? And it's kind of an interesting discussion. Aiden's Toys says, I'm going to be in the Thunderdome tonight. Well, have fun, buddy. Have fun. Cooper says, do you agree it'd be cool if Jeff Hardy's Willow would come out against Sami Zayn? I don't know, man. I struggle with Willow because I haven't really got any history with that character. I've seen a few clips, but I've never watched like Willow matches. If it's like Jeff Hardy's Darkness and it doesn't have like supernatural elements. Like, I don't know, can Willow disappear? I don't know. Like all of that stuff, I'm not keen on. It's personal taste, and that's just my taste. So, I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm more into Jeff being Jeff. And I was on board with him facing his personal demons. And as long as, I kept saying it, as long as he was all right with it, as long as he was like, yeah, okay, we can use this stuff, to help me connect with the audience. I thought that it was doing good things for him. I don't think the story was told very well. I would have told it a slightly different way. But I remember saying, my problem with Jeff Hardy is he's not reliable. He's had a lot of demons. Can you really put the belt on him? Because, you fast forward a month or so and, is he going to be done for DUI or something again? Or has he overcome all of that? So the fact that they put it into a storyline and he was saying that he is, fighting it, but he's winning that battle. And it was a good opportunity for him to kind of give us a bit of an update and show us where he is. And it did a lot for him. I was more on board with Jeff Hardy like this year than I have been in years, because I felt like I had a better understanding of his struggles and where he was with it all. I wouldn't throw that away to, here's Willow. Do you know what I mean? I kind of feel like they've done so much work and they've kind of like built up this connection that, like, to now bring in Willow, doesn't sit right with me. But I know loads of people really want it, as I said, so I'm not going to begrudge it, people, but just not for me. Just not for me. Right, let's go back up. Johnny Bates says Willow is only meant for vengeance. Shout out to you, Johnny. Hope you are well. Jordan says we do a fan vote and then you go to the Thunderdome for a show. I don't know what you mean, but if you're going to the Thunderdome, have fun. Tom says Thunderdome is full. Charlie says that Joanna from UFC has a year contract with WWE. I haven't seen that. That would be a bit strange considering she is a current champion for them and still an active fighter in the UFC. So I don't know why she would now sign a contract with WWE. Days, with AEW increasing their star power with Rusev, as well as more in the future, do you think that by next year they could reach 1.5 to 2 million? No, I don't. When they started Dynamite, and there was a lot of excitement and a lot of intrigue and a lot of, boom, here we go, brand new wrestling show. I can't remember what that first show got, but I believe it was about 1 million, maybe 1.1, something along those lines. You would have to say that really is, a big number for them, and they haven't quite got back to those levels. This 1 million that they just got, I don't think they got that 1 million, and I'm not throwing shade. I know AEW fans watching this are going to think I'm about to throw shade. I'm not. I'm just telling you how I see it. They got that 1 million not because of any storyline, not because of any superstar. They got that 1 million because it was well documented that Matt Hardy knocked himself stupid. It was well documented that his wife kicked off. And it was well documented that he was going to be talking on the show. And I really believe that Matt Hardy and his addressing to like speaking, his promo, that's what really drove a good chunk of people to tune in and see what he had to say. I think that was trending. Matt Hardy was trending on Twitter and all throughout All Out. Matt Hardy was being spoken about, and Matt Hardy's a massive name. Do you know what I mean? Like, for that to happen to one of the biggest names they've got as well. It's not as if it happened to like Marco Stunt, and Marco Stunt came out and did a little thing. I don't think that would have generated the same buzz. That's no shade on Marco Stunt. I'm just being honest. I think we can all agree that Matt Hardy is a bigger star than Marco Stunt. So, I really feel like that kind of moved the number for them. I think for them to consistently get to 1.5, 1.7, they're going to need something pretty major to move the dial that much, because you're talking there about increasing by your audience by 50%. It's 70%, even more than that, because don't forget, consistently they've been getting 700 odd thousand. I think they get the million last week because you've got Matt Hardy speaking, you've got the fallout from All Out, and maybe, like, I don't know if Rusev was teased at all. I don't think he was. I really think it was the Matt Hardy thing. I don't think they get a million next week. So I don't think they're at the point where they can get a million on a consistent basis, if I'm being honest. So I kind of feel like in order for them to increase their audience by 50%, they're going to need more than Rusev. They're going to need a lot more than Rusev. You need a Brock Lesnar. You need a CM Punk. You need a Roman Reigns, a John Cena, someone that caliber, that big of a star, that's got that kind of a draw. Rusev ain't going to swing it that much. So it's going to help. No denying that. It's going to help. But I thought the way that he debuted was madness. Absolute madness. He did not come in looking like a killer. He didn't come in looking like this new dominant force. He looked like he'd just got out of bed. So, yeah, I don't know. Couldn't get my head around why they debuted him that way. But they've got him, and he is going to be a great asset for them. No denying that. No denying that. So, looking forward to seeing what they do on Wednesday. See how they're going to use him next. I mean, obviously, we're building towards this wedding, so I don't think he's going to be... he might be in action. I'm not sure, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's go down. AEW doesn't give a monkeys about their women's division, says James Chadwick. Let's go down to... Here we go. David Paul says, have you seen Uncle Dave's ratings? No, I haven't. Were they good? Bad? Positive? I haven't seen them. Johnny Bates says, an unpopular opinion, I hate Willow's umbrella. Well, there we go. Kieran says, I'm sick of all garbage wrestling. They do some good stuff as well. I mean, bringing in Thunder Rosa was a stroke of genius. And I thought she had either the second best or the best match at All Out. I think that they've got some good names and good talent. You know, there's no denying that the Young Bucks are a good tag team. So are FTR. Kenny Omega is a good wrestler. Cody, excellent. Jericho, legend. So there's no denying that they've got talent on that roster. And they've got money behind them. They've got a good TV deal. Seemingly they're stable and not going anywhere. For me, there's no rush. There's no rush. They just need to keep doing what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Just keep doing what they're doing. And just keep building. Just keep building. Keep adding to the roster. Take away the elements that don't work. Bring in some new elements that do. And just keep growing. And just keep building. And don't rush it. Don't try and force it. And they're going to make mistakes. And they've made mistakes. They'll admit that themselves. And they've got some stuff right as well. Still, my favourite match of the year is an AEW match. So, yeah, you know, I think considering that's their first year, they've done well. They've done well. Obed6 says, why does WWE cancel the Slammy Awards? Is it because it takes too many parts of the show and it doesn't enhance any of the superstars' storylines? To be honest, I think they only do the Slammy Awards when they feel like they need to do the Slammy Awards, or they feel like it would benefit, as you said. I don't know if it's a case that they're like struggling for time, and they're like, we need some interesting segment, or, you know, it's not a consistent thing. That really hurts the Slammies. If the Slammies was every year and we could go back and we could see the results, and, you know what I mean, it went all the way back to the early 90s, late 80s, and when you won it, it actually meant something. That'd be really cool. I mean, when you talk about Slammies, I always think about Owen Hart, and I'm sure many of you do as well. He loved his Slammy Award wins. He had it printed on his tights, and he would come down holding both of the awards. Like, he made a massive deal out of winning, like, the Slammies. Yeah, I always think of Owen Hart when I think of the Slammies. So, yeah, it's never been something. It's never been like the Hall of Fame. It's never been something that's been on a consistent basis that they've done every single year. They've always just gone to it when they've needed it, you know, bit of time to kill, or we could give this award out for this. This will be funny. We could get a funny R-Truth moment if we did like a little funny Slammy award. Like, I don't know, tweet of the year or something. So they just kind of use it on that basis. It's not as if they sit there and it's like, right, Slammy's what that's coming up in November. Should we start getting a list together of who's had the best matches and all this? If anything, this year I can see it being the Bumpies. They did Bumpies, didn't they? The Bump Awards, the Bumpies. We've already had the half-year Bumpy Awards. So I think that there's a good chance you get the Bumpies at the end of the year rather than the Slammies. Matthew Lopez, shout out to you. Days Dragunov versus Volta is happening next Thursday. Okay, very cool. Kevin says Hall of Fame sucks because there's no building. Well, I'd have to disagree because I agree that I wish there was a building, and actually I believe they were looking at a building at Universal City Walk in Orlando, Florida. I believe it was the NBA restaurant, which is now some kind of a chocolate emporium or something. But you got like Islands of Adventure, you got Universal Studios, and there's like this night life area that connects them called City Walk. It's got like clubs and shops and a cinema and restaurants and Hard Rock Cafe and all this. There's a building there that they were looking at, but they didn't go with it for whatever reason. I agree that it would be of benefit if they had a physical Hall of Fame place that you could go to, and you would say Florida would make the most sense. But I can't say that the Hall of Fame is trash because we've had some absolutely incredible induction speeches, found out loads of great stories, got to hear from so many legends, and if there wasn't a Hall of Fame, you wouldn't have had any of that. So it's one of my favourite parts of the year, is listening to the legends speak, tell their stories, reflect on their careers, and I think the thing can be done a bit better. Some of the speeches tend to go on a little bit long, and then also some of the speeches, they have to try and cut the time down, and it can get a bit awkward, where I seem to remember when Goldberg got inducted, half the audience was missing, because it had gone on that long, and because I think WrestleMania was the next day, load of the wrestlers had to go to bed because it was WrestleMania the next day, so they couldn't afford to stick around. That is so. Imagine that going in the Hall of Fame and just loads of empty chairs. So disrespectful. So disrespectful. So yeah, they needed to tweak and change it, and they've been making little changes. But no, I'm a big fan of the Hall of Fame, and. What we were just talking about the Slammies and how they don't do it every year. It's great that the Hall of Fame is done every year. Absolutely brilliant, because it really does give it some prestige. So, but I don't disagree that it should have its own building. That'd be cool, man. Could you imagine if you went to Florida? If you went down to Florida and you got to actually walk around an actual Hall of Fame. Kieran says, I want to cave in the Young and Omega's head. Okay. Well, I don't suggest you watch AEW then, because they're all over that show. Sean Rousset says, Days, AEW is on a Thursday next week for your information. Oh, it is, isn't it? Thank you. Yes. Johnny Bates says, what's your thoughts on Kimberly? I don't know much about her. I've seen her a few times, and I can't tell you where. Was she in a Mae Young Classic? She might have been in the Mae Young Classic, because I have seen her wrestle a few times. And if someone was to put a gun to my head and say, tell me where, I would say Mae Young Classic. Other than that, I've not seen her. Is she on Impact or something now? Because I know she's not in WWE, and I know she's not in AEW, so my guess is she's on Impact. And so I've not seen her. But whenever I've seen her, she's always struck me as a competent wrestler. I mean, I can't say I've ever seen her do anything that's blown my mind. But, yeah, she was always solid. Check out Uncle Dave's all-out ratings. Can do. Let me just see if we're all up to speed with people's comments. Kevin says, who in the Hall of Fame do you think shouldn't be? I think that's really difficult. The one that always stood out to me was Coco Beware, but I don't want to throw shade on Coco Beware because I loved Coco Beware as a kid. He used to come down with Frankie, and I used to love Coco Beware. I've got the Coco Beware Hasbro figure, so I was playing with the Coco Beware figure as a child, watching Coco Beware on TV and enjoying his work. The reason why I say that I always found him to be a bit questionable was because I don't believe he was in WWE all that long. For me, you either win a load of titles and you go in on the fact that you was, a main eventer or won loads of championships, or you go in because you was with the company for a long, long time. He joined in 86 and he left in 94, but so he was in for 8 years and he wasn't used on a consistent basis. I mean, he was used, but it's not as if he was on every pay-per-view on a regular basis throughout that 8 years. He was very much a low card kind of talent, if you will. The only thing I would say is that he did start wrestling from 78. So I suppose if you take his whole career into effect, rather than just his WWF run, then there's a bit more of an argument for it. And he certainly won a lot of different championships. But again, nothing really that crazy. Nothing really in the NWM. Just looking at the NWA, he won the United States Tag Team Championship once. He didn't get anything in WWE, no championships in WWE, and then just a lot of really small championships from very small promotions. But I don't begrudge him going in at all. I mean, if WWE feel that he's worthy of going in, I'm not going to argue that. He's just not someone that would have been that high on my list. But I wouldn't take him out. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of the Hall of Fame. I pretty much agree with everyone that's in. I'm not too fussed about, like, the celebrity wing. But I appreciate it's a celebrity wing, so I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate that it's very much its own. It's over there. I wish they made a bigger deal of the legend, the legacy. That's got like, that's got that Luna Vachon is in the Hall of Fame, and she just went in with the legacy class, and they don't get an induction speech. It's just she gets like a minute video package. That's it. I wish they made more of that. Landon says, "What do you think about the Fiend being in the Rumble?" That would be cool. I'd be down for that. I think a lot of people would enjoy it if Funhouse Bray was in the Rumble, Eater of Worlds Bray was in the Rumble, and then the Fiend was in the Rumble. You know, like how we had the 3 faces of Foley. I think people would enjoy it if they did something similar with Bray, and I'm sure they will at some point. Dallas Stars fan says, thanks for the follow. Oh, no, you're welcome. Shout out to you. Jim Gore, shout out to you, my friend. What matches are confirmed? We've got Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles. There's a few other matches that were rumoured, but I haven't seen them confirmed. So we'll find out in about 20 minutes. Someone was just saying something about Coco. I saw Coco's name mentioned and I really wanted to read it. Jim says, Coco at least had some decent matches, unlike Bob Orton, who was mostly known as a henchman to Piper and Adonis. Lovely, lovely knowledge. Was there another mention? I'm sure I saw another mention about Coco that I was going to read. LSW says, Days, how long do you think Finn will hold the title? And have they dropped the Finn Volta match? I don't think they've dropped the Finn Volta match. I think they can still do it. And in fact, they might want to do it at something like Survivor Series. Imagine NXT UK champ versus NXT champ. So they could still do Finn versus Volta. I know they did move TakeOver Dublin. And I think it was still penciled in for that. So, no, to my knowledge, it's not something that's dropped. It's just obviously been affected because of what's gone on with the pandemic and everything. But I still feel that we'll see it one day. I just don't know how close that day is. Could it be at TakeOver Dublin? Maybe. You would have to think Finn would want to be on that show. So, yeah, I think there's a chance you could still get it there. There's a chance you get it at Survivor Series. There's a chance you don't get it this year. There's a chance you don't get it at all. But I think you will, is my personal feeling. Because I think the only reason you haven't yet is because of the pandemic. But Days, when you were talking about the Slammies, I randomly thought about Seth Rollins' 2015 heel laugh, and now I'm having nightmares, says LCF Enterprises. Shout out to you, dude. Right, let me have a look. I want to just have a look at these Dave Meltzer ratings because I was actually trying to keep an eye out for them out of interest. All out Meltzer ratings. Here we go. I did look the other day and they weren't up. Okay, so Dave Meltzer said Joey Janelli versus Serpentico, 2 stars. Private Party against Dark Order, 2.75. Yeah, Private Party Dark Order was okay. It was definitely better than Joey Janella versus Serpentico. So maybe a touch high those for me, but nothing disastrous. Big Swole Britt Baker is not rated, although in fairness he doesn't tend to touch cinematic matches. Young Bucks Jurassic Express 4.25. I would have to disagree with. I think that it was maybe the best match on the show, but I'd have to disagree that it was that high. For me, it was like a 3.5 or something. It was a good match. I enjoyed watching it. I think I gave it 7 out of 10. So 3.5 would actually make sense. So I can't agree that match was. He's saying it's an 8.5 out of 10. That match. Can't agree. Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara not rated. Fine. Shida Thunder Rosa, I gave 7 out of 10. He's given it 3.5. So I agree. Dark Order Natural Nightmares 3.5. I have to disagree. I was pretty bored by the match. It wasn't a complete disaster, but I wouldn't be giving it 7 out of 10. I gave it 5 out of 10, so I would have rated it 2.5. He's given it 3.5. This one is hilarious. What is he doing? Before I clicked on this, right? Before I clicked on this, I mentally said to myself, he's gonna score them high. That's the whole point of why people want you to look at these ratings, right? So he's gonna have scored them high, so you're not, just mentally get ready. I wasn't ready for this next one. This is a joke. I will quite happily say this is a joke. Hangman Page, Kenny Omega versus FTR, 4.5 stars. 4.5 stars. Even FTR went on Twitter after and said 1-star match, 6-figure contract. I think that was Cash Wheeler that went on to Twitter after and basically even said himself, that was rubbish. We know it's rubbish. 1-star match, but hey, I'm getting paid. 6-figure contract. So they were mentally prepared for that to be a 1-star match. I didn't see any love for it at all. It didn't click. It didn't work. And he's giving it 4.5 stars. That's I've got to be honest, that's hard to defend. That's hard to defend. I don't know how you defend that. I don't know what his sin. I'd have to listen to what his. I don't know. Jericho Orange Cassidy 3.5 stars. I think that's too high, but 3.5 stars. And Moxley MJF 4.25. I think that's a bit high. I wouldn't say that was anywhere near the 4-star territory. I mean, to be honest, if he was going to give Jericho Cassidy 3.5, fine. I think Moxley MJF's about the same. So I'd say is well over on Moxley MJF. I'd say he is a little bit over on Bucks Jurassic Express. I'd say he's a bit over on Dark Order, Natural Nightmares. And the Page Omega FTR, he is so far out on that for me. But this is personal preference, isn't it? It's personal preference. I mean, you've still got to say, considering he is a huge AEW fan, those scores are still, there's quite a few 3.5s in there. 2.5, 2.75, 2. 2 of the matches are not rated. So I think overall the average score is still not going to be brilliant for them. But yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't seen that. Moxley MJF was 10 times better than Jericho OC, says Jake. Wrestle King says Roman Reigns will destroy Jey Uso. I agree. The Wrestle Kid says, what were your thoughts about Tony Khan saying Double or Nothing destroyed WrestleMania? That's what he's there to say. I wouldn't expect him to say anything else. He has to say that stuff. I mean, he's got a lot of money tied up in AEW, so he has to put positive spins on things. So, if he actually believes that, then, and well, whatever. But yeah, that's what he's got to say. Jason says, you don't know if you remember I am Jason Brown that won a Cesaro figure. Keep up the good work. Jason Brown, shout out to you, buddy. What do you rate Cole versus Finn? I thought it was about a 4-star match. If someone wanted to say it was 4.25, I could kind of vibe with it. I think a match that really has you like on the edge of your seat, and it's got some really dramatic moments, and I don't want to say it's got like loads of false finishes or anything, because that's not a blueprint for a great match. But there was a couple of times, I think the last shot hit and it looked like, well, that's it. And he kicked out of it, and it was like, and there was like some real moments of drama. And also, I think a sign of a good match is where you're completely lost in it and you just don't want it to end. I mean, what I am describing there is absolutely not FTR versus Hangman and Kenny. I couldn't wait for that to end. It went way too long. Way too long. It was long. It didn't click. It wasn't getting into any kind of rhythm. I was waiting for it to go up in gears. There was a few moments that they just couldn't get the timings quite right. How he has seen 4.5 stars on that is beyond me. I'd be very interested to hear him talk about the show and see how he justifies that. Because I'm actually not a Dave Meltzer hater. Whenever we do watch-alongs, I always bring up his ratings because I think they're a decent guide. Do you know what I mean? I think they're a good guide. You can have a look and it will just kind of help point you in the right direction. But I think that one in particular, I think he's got very wrong. But personal opinion, isn't it? I can't say he's wrong because it's his opinion. But he is. Liv is the girl with the heels, says Chuck. Mad G27NY says, how about this on AEW Dynamite? 2 former Lucha Underground wrestlers fight for the NWA Women's World Championship. Thunder Rosa versus Ivelisse. NWA is returning with the help of AEW. Febin says, Days, who would you personally want to be the one who eventually wins the title from Roman? Big E. I think that Roman as a heel is excellent. I think they can keep building him up, get tons of heat on him, have him turn on his family, just keep going with this story. Just keep building him up as this monster heel. But whilst you're building him up as the monster heel, build up Big E as the monster face. And then you got to collide him at some point. But that point can't be till after WrestleMania. You might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to say Money in the Bank at the earliest. The reason why I say that is because you've got to build up Roman as a heel, and you've got to do Roman Rock at WrestleMania. So if you do Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania, Big E has got to be just sort of in the background. And then as soon as we get WrestleMania out the way, boom, then you do Roman, Big E. I wouldn't want to do that match at like a B show. You could argue that Money in the Bank is a B show, but I think it's still regarded as like one of the top 5. It's kind of like a modern day King of the Ring, isn't it? Back in like the early 90s, you had the big 4 and then King of the Ring came along and that was the big 5. I think Money in the Bank's kind of in that slot now. It's not a big 4, but it's just outside. So you do Rock versus Roman and then get Money in the Bank done as quick as you can, which they did this year, didn't they? Didn't Money in the Bank follow WrestleMania? I think they did WrestleMania and then the next one was Money in the Bank, if I remember correctly. I would do something similar next year. Do Roman Rock, next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, Roman Big E. Z2CU says, Days, another Z random fact. Backlash 2020 was Bobby Lashley's first championship opportunity since the 2007 Great American Bash. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Lovely fact. Lovely fact. It's great to see so many people joining us as well. Thank you so much. I mean, not that I can see how many people are joining us, but just judging by how many people are in the chat. So big shout out to everyone that's with us. We are only 7 minutes away, unbelievably, only 7 minutes away from going to this week's SmackDown. For those of you that are just joining us, we have got Bayley addressing last week's attack. There's a good chance that she will open the show, I would imagine, and do her promo. Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles for the IC title. And Bray Wyatt unveils his newest Firefly Funhouse creation. So we've got all of that coming up. As well as that, a few things that we need to speak about. Billie Kay has apparently on the verge of being moved out of TV. She's being moved away from being like used. She's basically on her way to catering. So I feel really bad for her. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if she's upset anyone backstage. I don't know. I don't know if she's messed something up, if she's not reliable, or I just don't know. I don't know how they are looking at someone like Billie Kay and not pulling the trigger. So, really disappointed at that news that's coming out. I'm hoping that it's going to turn out to not be true, but certainly a story that's doing the rounds that Billie Kay is pretty much done with being on TV, certainly for the moment. Interesting interview with Finn Balor. He said that he went back to NXT because he was feeling burnt out. He said that the Demon King was trying to please too many people too often. He says that if he was to go and do it again, he would do it differently. He didn't explain what exactly he would do differently, but he would do it differently. I mean, they didn't use it that much. It's not as if he was Demon King every week. So I can't say it was overused. So I don't know exactly what he's referring to. But he said that he was trying to please too many people too often with the Demon King. So don't understand. But equally, he said that he doesn't think we've seen the last of the Demon King. So that is an interview with Finn Balor. So there is a chance the Demon King will return. I just wouldn't expect it anytime soon. I wouldn't expect it to be a part of this NXT run. Asuka versus Shayna apparently is penciled in for Clash of Champions. When we say penciled, though, we really mean penciled because apparently the story's ever evolving and changing, and they could do Riot Squad against Nia and Shayna Baszler instead. So Shayna Baszler obviously going to be used at Clash of Champions. Just not sure in what match, but it was penciled in that it was going to be Asuka versus Shayna Baszler for the title. And we spoke about AEW hitting 1 million, which for whatever reason, I think it was to do with Matt Hardy, but for whatever reason, it's still an excellent, excellent achievement. So, well done to them. OG, Little Kills says, I'm in the Thunderdome. Have fun, buddy. Enjoy yourself. Robin813 says, people were more excited for the Demon than they were for Finn. That's a good point. I don't know that Finn was getting over. The Demon was getting over. So it's good. It is a good point. Ben Russell says, why don't you try to get into the Thunderdome? Because the rules say that you shouldn't be on the internet when you're in the Thunderdome. You shouldn't be streaming YouTube or anything. And so I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want me actually doing a live stream at the same time. Plus also, I think it says that they want to have exclusive rights to any reactions and things like this. And, it kind of brings a lot of things into question. So I had a read of the terms when it first started, and I was like, pretty sure that I can't be taking part in this. Otherwise, I'd be quite happy to jump in there and have a bit of fun. Sean says they should revamp Billie Kay's persona and put her on the opposite brand as Peyton, which could be part of the reason why they take her off TV. Maybe, to give her the revamp, maybe. I don't know why. If they've got a long-term plan where they're going to take her off, give her a new gimmick, bring her back, then yeah, cool, fine, totally on board with it. But there's been rumours for a while that they're not fans of Billie, and the whole reason they're splitting the Iconics is to push Peyton. And now the news is coming out that we might not see much of Billie now. They're taking her off TV altogether. So I hope it's not for that's it, she's done reasons. And it is what you say, that they're going to repackage her. But the rumours haven't looked brilliant on that. Let's put it that way. David says, Days, I give my opinions on All Out on a fan page, and I had many people start to give me personal abuse because I said I didn't like the show. Well, look, there's negative fans in AEW. There's negative fans in WWE. There's negative fans in pretty much every promotion. Apart from NWA, I can't say I've ever experienced any negative fans in NWA, but I've definitely experienced them in WWE, and I've definitely experienced in AEW. And I think where you've got this war on at the moment, if you show any favoritism to one side over the other, then the other set of fans are going to attack you. So it wouldn't have mattered if you'd have said something negative about NXT. I'm pretty sure you would have got negativity as well. But so it's one of those things, and just know that you're not alone. I mean, honestly, if you want mega lols, just go on to Twitter and just say something negative about NXT or AEW and just wait for them sweet, sweet replies. I've been tempted, actually, to do a little bit of trolling. Go on and just make a few things up. Just to wind up some of those hardcore fans. That, honestly, if they're going to jump in and, act the way they act, I've got no respect for them anyway, so. I could just randomly say I'm in the Thunderdome, says William. Well, shout out to you. Gorilla Press says we are here. Shout out to you. We're starting off with a graphic for 9/11. Says never forget. Obviously, we did speak a bit about that earlier. Whoever reads this, have a great night, says Lydia. Oh, look, we've got that going. Shut up. Here we go. Smackdown is beginning. Jaylene, shout out to you. Right, we're just seeing last week Roman making his way down with Paul Heyman. That's how the show started. Show up and win. Santi Raw says, I watch both. Shout out to you, man. I mean, like, just to finish that conversation, it doesn't matter if you watch one, if you watch both, if you're a hardcore NXT or a hardcore AEW. It does not matter. It's just there's real negative parts of both fan bases, but you get that with everything. I'm sure it's the same thing in Marvel and DC and all different fan bases, you know. Gorilla Press says, our Mick Foley interview about the creation of the mask debuts tonight after SmackDown. Well, there we go. Gorilla Press have got a very, very interesting interview with Mick Foley coming up. And that is later tonight. I'm going to jump to watch the show, BT. See you later. Shout out to you, Andy. Thank you for joining us. We're still going through a little video package of last week with Roman. Raw is awful right now. Yeah, past few weeks have not been great, have they, for Raw? Really haven't been great. I don't know what's happened, actually. Do you think it's Bruce leaving and focusing on SmackDown and Shane coming in? Because I know Shane was taken over from Bruce, and I don't know if that's what's happened, or even if that has happened yet. Something's changed. I know that much. Something's changed on Raw. Right. Still last week. We're still looking at a video package. Jack CM01 says, God bless the first responders and the ones that fell on that day. Completely agree. I don't know why I did, but earlier, I think it was earlier this year or last year, I really love documentaries. I'm a massive documentary fan. When it comes to watching a film, I'll watch documentary over anything else. I love real stories. So I think I googled like best documentaries, and one of the first it recommends is 9/11. I believe it's just called 9/11. And it's actually some French. I'm sure many of you will have seen this because I'm sure it's been on TV many, many times. I had seen bits of it, but I don't believe I'd seen it all. And it's a couple of French guys that were actually filming with a trainee new recruit fireman in New York on the day of 9/11. And they'd followed his journey to becoming a fireman. And they were filming, and they were with him on the day, and they were with him when the call came in, and they go into the building. They obviously don't go up, but they're at the ground level, and you've got the footage of inside the building as the firemen are in there, and it's stunning. It is really stunning. If you've never seen it, I really recommend that you watch it, because it will give you such an appreciation for what everyone went through. I mean, not that you can ever really understand, but you know. Anyway, we are in the Thunderdome. The video package has ended. We're just about to find out what is going to start the show. Gorilla Press says, we love your stuff, Days. We are here watching with you until the start of our premiere. Shout out to you, Gorilla Press. Roman is coming down. That's cool. They've got a new CGI Roman. He's got his arms back and his head back, and his new t-shirt that says, wreck everyone and leave. They're piping in booze for Roman as well. I don't know why. Why is there booze for Roman? What has he done? What has he done? What has he done wrong? Why are they piping in booze for Roman? I know we're meant to not like him, but honestly, what has he done wrong? Giant 3D Roman. It was a giant 3D Roman. They have had it before, but not that newer version. I'm telling you now. They're piping in booze for Roman, And the irony is, I'm pretty sure he'd be getting cheered by the crowd. I'm pretty sure that the real fans would be cheering. Ryan says, stop calling him the big dog. Okay, they're talking about Jey Uso and the fact it's going to be the biggest singles match he'll ever have. Sean says, have you seen the documentary on former WCW David Arquette? I haven't. It's new, isn't it? I've heard of it. It details his attempt to come back in the wrestling business. It's called You Cannot Kill David Arquette. I haven't seen it. I do want to see it. As I said, big fan of documentaries, and I've heard about it. And apparently it gives you a real appreciation for him. And he's always had a bit of a bad reputation. There was a real backlash in him winning the world title, which, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Fair enough. Okay. Your tribal chief. I love how Heyman's doing all the talking for him now. He has. I don't know if he has ever looked cooler. Straight up, I don't know that he's ever looked cooler. He doesn't have to talk anymore. This is money. This is just such money. It's brilliant. It's one of the best things they've done. Brandy, shout out to you. I was talking about your show at the start of the stream. Really enjoyed it. Big fan of Sensational Sherry, and it's very interesting listening to who she could have been put with if she was still around. I completely agree. I mean, she would have been such a benefit to so many people. Such a benefit to the likes of Dolph Ziggler and whatnot. I thought that was a really good shout. So yeah, really enjoyed it. And I didn't know, actually. I want to look into what her relationship was like with Macho at the end. Macho Man. I'm going to look into that. Because I heard you say that it was they were not on speaking terms. I don't know much about their relationship at the end, so... It's very interesting. Shout out to you. I really enjoyed the hot tag. Right. Can we do another toy hunt? We will, yes. But right now we're focused on Roman, who's wearing his show up and win t-shirt, black t-shirt with white writing on. Obviously, he's got the Blue Universal title over his shoulder. Paul Heyman in the ring in a sharp suit. Okay, so now they're introducing Jey Uso. I honestly feel like for 9 minutes, all we've had is recap. We've had a video package. Almost as close as brothers. I mean, the foreshadowing here. I mean, look at that. Almost as close as brothers. The little graphic on the sign said cousin of Roman. I don't know why they put that graphic up, because it's never up for any longer than a second. And look at this as well. Just in case you didn't know. Here's a picture of them when they were young. The foreshadowing here. He is going to beat the living everything out of Jey Uso, isn't he? I don't know if he's going to do it now. Look at this, Jey Uso. He says, I got love for you. And say to your face, thank you. Thank you. I get to compete against my blood. Okay. Smile on the face of Roman. Okay. So Paul Heyman is saying this was actually Roman's idea. Your tribal chief. Roman standing, little smile on his face, staring at Jay. Roman did say it was Paul Heyman's idea last week. You don't have to thank me. We're blood. Years. We've thought about this. Your family. I'm proud of you. The whole family's proud of you. You've earned this. You earned this. Oh, they're setting this up so well. You don't have to thank me. This is gripping. Don't look at this. Look at me. Clash of Champions won't be your moment. This has to stay on my... Whoa, this has to stay on my shoulder for our family to stay where we are. Just like when we were kids, I'm going to whoop your ass, but it is all love. King Corbin. The last thing this segment needed was King Corbin. At no point was I watching this gripped, thinking, oh, this will be improved if King Corbin comes out. But here he is. Should have done something like this with Cena, says Moda. I love this, says Shay. Look, I completely agree. All hail King Corbs, says Robin. Well, he's here in a sharp suit. That guy just happens to be your... Okay, so Corbin is suggesting this is favoritism. I've got to be honest, trying to get Roman over as a heel, it's not going to work very well if he's going to have a match against King Corbin. Here's Sheamus now. This is a bit cluttered. I don't know why we're doing all this. What's all this? Sharp suit for the king. This whole situation stinks, says Sheamus. Tag match incoming, says Shay. They just ruined this segment, says Future Compilations. I got to agree, man. I was so into it. I didn't know where we were going. Didn't expect to go here. I mean, Jay and Roman against King Corbin and Sheamus, that's just not... Not the right way forward. Did they change Sheamus's gear on him again? Yeah, he's wearing that kind of... I don't know what you'd call it. The blood. The blood versus butt mud. I love how Roman's not doing anything. Roman's just standing there. With the belt over his shoulder. Jey Uso just taking him out on his own. Roman looking impressed with what Jey Uso's just done. He's looking out the ring. King Corbin's out. Over by the ring post. Sheamus is out the ring. Well, there we go. I think we are moving towards that match. I like how Roman's not doing anything. Jey Uso looking at him, kind of a little bit sensing that things aren't quite right. Interesting. Can he be trusted? Is he gonna help Jey Uso? Watch Roman walk out on Uso during the match, says Robin. Okay, tonight we've got a fatal four-way match. The winner will face Bayley at Clash of Champions. So it is not Bayley Sasha at Clash of Champions. We've got Alexa, we got Nikki, we got Lacey and Tamina. Where's Naomi? Where was Naomi? Why is Tamina in there? Yeah? Jim, my exact same thoughts. Where's Naomi? I'm fine with it not being Sasha because they're selling that brutal beatdown. Sami Zayn is in the production truck. Sami Zayn's like, how can he be fighting for the IC title when I'm the IC champion? Look, he's pulling levers and buttons and... Wow, look at that. We've gone to commercial break at a time where we were meant to go to commercial break. We always go to commercial break around this time. He did him a favour. Tamina for the win. Hello, RJ Madma. Sami is trash. I don't mind Sami. Little bit weird that he's just took us to commercial break, but whatever. Landon says, what do you think about the Fiend's entrance? I like it, yeah. I think they will get him played out by, is it Code Orange? I can't remember what they're called. Code Red? I think they will play him, his theme music. There was plans for them to do that, but obviously with the pandemic and everything. Did you notice how Roman looked at Jay as he walked away? I did. He looked a little impressed at first. And I agree with, I think, was it Shay that said, you know, Roman's probably going to walk out of this tag match and leave Jay on his own. I can see Sheamus and King Corbin beating up Jey Uso. And Roman just walking off. Jay is going to do everything. Code Orange. There we go. It would be nice if Jey Uso came and had a chair, look at Roman Reigns, turn around and start attacking him, says Donald. Shout out to WWE fans. We are just at commercial break. Paul Heyman got Big E beaten up last week. I don't know. He didn't say that. He said after Big E was taken out of the match. I didn't hear him confirm that, but it certainly could go that way. It could be revealed that Paul Heyman got Big E taken out of the match. But I love that storytelling, because if it does turn out that Paul Heyman was responsible for it, then Big E all of a sudden is in and around the title picture, isn't he? You know, he's already got a few wins. Give him a few more. Build it up. It could be that you get the Hacker back, and the Hacker could reveal that Paul Heyman put Sheamus up to it. So I do love that if it does go that way. Chalmers says, random question, who is the breakout and let down superstar of the year so far? I think that's really hard to say. I think you could maybe put... Breakout, I think, is really difficult because you've got to be looking at someone like Angel Garza. Or you could maybe make an argument for Dominic, even though he's not really done a great deal over the space of the year. But I don't know. Is there anyone in WWE that's really come through this year? I mean, I've got to say, probably the person that's impressed me the most has been Bayley with her heel turn. I would put her right up the top. I think Roman with his heel turn, but of course he's only been back a few weeks. So I would really put Bayley up there. I feel like she is a bit of a new character with her heel turn. So I don't know if it's cheating to say that she's a breakout of the year, but it is a new gimmick for her. Otherwise, you'd be looking at the likes of Angel Garza. Matt Riddle hasn't really been around that long. I don't think there's really anyone in the women's division that's kind of stepped up or been given the opportunity really to step up outside of Shayna Baszler, but she hasn't really done a great deal. So I don't know if it's been a great year for building new stars, but I'll say Bayley. Let down. I don't know. I don't know if you could say, has anyone really let the side down? I think everyone's kind of performed as I expected them to. Feel free to let me know if you feel that someone has been a letdown. But, do you know what I mean? Like, King Corbin's boring, but he's always been boring. So I don't know if he's a letdown. Shorty G we knew was never going to do anything with that name. Jeff Hardy making his way down. Here is Jeff Hardy. He is going to be taking on AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. Boom. John, shout out to you, says, sadly, I've gone back to school, so I can't watch the Raw streams anymore. Well, you're not alone, but I know that school is getting in the way for a few people at the moment. But great that you can join us for SmackDown all the same. It's quite interesting thinking about it. Like, you know, if people can't watch Raw because it's on a little bit late or whatever, then maybe that might affect the Raw ratings. Whereas SmackDown on a Friday, you know, because it's the weekend and whatever, more people can maybe enjoy it. So, I don't know, maybe they are starting to put a bit more emphasis onto SmackDown. It's certainly the better show. Here's the phenomenal AJ Styles. He's got a new t-shirt. So, AJ's got in black attire, and his t-shirt says something, gloves on. Keep the gloves on, is it? He's got his jacket on at the moment, so we can't quite see it, but it's something about his gloves. AJ is going to get the title back tonight. Keith Lee is going to be the breakout. Matt Riddle as the letdown. Both of them haven't been on the main roster that long. I've only just noticed Jeff Hardy's face paint, to be honest, because I was chatting with you guys. It's Stars and Stripes. It's the flag, obviously, for 9/11. That's really cool. Looks really smart. He's got the stars over his left eye and the stripes just underneath. And then on the other side of his face, I think it's normal kind of white face paint for him. Here's Sami. Sami is saying no, no, no. Me and Sami look very similar. I should get one of them hats. I am the Intercontinental Champion. I won this title fair and square at WrestleMania. For personal reasons, I take a few months off. So he's calling Jeff Hardy a sham champion. So Sami Zayn with a big bushy beard, long hair. Let the record show this is an exhibition match. Adam Pearce is here. Adam Pearce is saying, we're here to take you away. So security have come to escort Sami Zayn away. You should all be ashamed. Right, we're underway anyway. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, Adam Pearce. They're using him a lot, aren't they? Sami Zayn is getting really annoying. Come on, man. Just defend it. Alexa Bliss should win and then go to Clash of Champions. Triple threat at Clash of Champions. Yeah, you've got to think that they're going to do... Well, even if it's not a triple threat, maybe they do champion, but triple threat would make sense. Jason, good shout. Is Fox not working for you guys? Asks subscribing to everyone who subscribes to me. Well, we're just going back to commercial break. We're already nearly a quarter of the way through the show. It's been all right. Really gripping promo to start. Maybe fell away when they turned it into a tag match, but I'm still on board. Interesting match here for the IC title. Should be very entertaining. So, decent show so far. TTV King says AJ is better as a face. Sean says those security guards look like Devon Dudley's sons. Shay says that was fire. Down Under Wrestling Figure Toy Hunt says no big name stars like Brock, Rock, Ronda will return to empty arena. Yeah, that's true. I'm not expecting anyone like that anytime soon. Vape Ross Vape says those guards were Devon's twins. Fun fact. RJ Madma asks, do you like The Simpsons? Yes. Katana Rick says Fox is acting a little bit weird. Okay. There's nothing wrong on BT Sport here in the UK. Robin says Rhea Ripley or Timothy Thatcher are my breakout stars. Young Ryder says, did you notice how Roman looked at Jay like he didn't want to be in the match? And did you notice when Roman stood there when Jay was fighting by himself? I think they're planting seeds for Roman to turn. Yes, I agree. He was kind of stood there, and then he looked impressed, kind of gave a bit of a nod to acknowledge, all right, fair play, you've just took both of these out on your own. And then he just kind of walked off, so... yeah, there's definitely some interesting stuff going on there. Jim Gore says, did you know that ants never get sick? It's because they have little antibodies. Oh, that was good. Well done, Jim. Yes. Oh, I didn't know where that was going, but that was very good. Shout out to Jim Gore. Joking Jim Gore. That's what we've got. Days, will we see the wobbly walrus tonight? No, the police have actually stopped me from showing that on streams. So, not tonight. AJ almost lost, says Patchy the Bird Gaming Channel. Billy says, I want Sami Zayn to go to Raw and compete for the WWE Championship. Oh, it's just great that he's back. I think he's such a great talent. Such a great talent. And talking of back, we are going back now to SmackDown. We've got AJ in the ring against Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy outside, thrown out the ring by AJ. Jeff in black trousers, and as we said, he's got pretty cool face paint on. Love the stars and stripes the one side and normal face paint the other. AJ in black with red highlights on his ring attire. Looks really smart. Looks really cool. We're back. Haunted Radio says, Days, will The Fiend attack Roman in the future, considering Roman took his title? Yeah, I would expect there to be a feud between those two. I don't know when. Maybe it's going to be after this Roman one. After this Roman one. After this Jay one. After this family one. Maybe they do Roman Jay. He turns on Jay. Turns on his family. Then we get Roman Fiend. Next year we get The Rock entering into the picture. I don't think Fiend's winning the title if they do that feud. Jeff Hardy goes flying off the ring steps into AJ, who they crash into the barricade. Big, look at that. Boom. Lovely kick. Throws AJ into the ring. Duck underneath by Jeff. Knocks down AJ. Inverted atomic drop. Takes AJ down. Tries to drop the legs, but gets blocked by AJ. This is going to be a decent match. Their last match, when Jeff won the title, was good. We are back. I think the guest for the Funhouse is going to be OG Bray, says Serious Gaming. If The Rock returns, I will be electrified, says Alan. I really think that, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to get the timings to work. That's the only problem, because you would have to think a lot of films have been cancelled well, like postponed because of the pandemic. So does that mean that next year is going to be a bit hectic for The Rock? Might be difficult to fit in that story, but I think he really would try to find a way of doing it for Roman, for his family. Oh, knee in the back of the neck, shoulder up by Jeff. Days, what about The Fiend versus Demon Balor? Ultimately, you could get it, but no time soon. And there's a lot of story you can tell there, of course, because it's The Fiend that really drove Balor to NXT. He beat him at SummerSlam last year, and he's been gone down in NXT ever since. So there's a ready-made story. But what with Balor being NXT champ, I can't see them doing that feud anytime soon. There could be a one-off match or something, but... Jeff managing to drop the legs there. And AJ down. Jalen says, my breakout stars are Drew and Bailey. Good picks. Days, who do you think has got the coolest ever ring attire, asks John. Let's throw that out to the chat, actually. I think that's really interesting. Who's got the coolest ever ring attire? For me, I'd have to be saying Macho Man. I think that Macho Man actually had really cool trunks, which were just very plain. Sometimes they were just orange with, like, stars, 3 stars on the front. Macho Man on the back, but it looked classy and distinctive. Sometimes it was orange, sometimes it was pink. Sami grabbing AJ and interfering. So Sami coming out of nowhere, and it's DQ. He's ruined this match. Sami charging over, haluva kick to Jeff. So Sami getting involved, ruining this contest. So, just to finish that last conversation, I'd say Macho Man, because his ring attire, his trunks were awesome. And then when he went to, like, different attire, it was still cool. And he had the robes. He kind of had everything. Ravishing Rick Rude had amazing ring attire as well. Warrior, Gargano, Willow or Warrior, Taker, Liv, says Dallas Stars fan. Lita, says Alan. Albert says Zayn will interfere, and he did. Bray Wyatt introduces his newest creation tonight. Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt introduces us to his newest creation. We got Jey Uso backstage with Roman. And look, Jey Uso is talking a lot. He's going through strategy, and Roman is just not interested, man. So we are getting that tag match later. John Cena, it's Pichu, says, I think it's Bo Dallas. His ring attire was crisp, because it was just white. Oh, Jeff falls down. Jeff is struggling. Okay, and we go to commercial break. Tammy Ward, shout out to you. Eric says, we need to have that triple threat between Sami, AJ, and Jeff. Rob M says, you can tell that Roman is getting tired of Jey rattling on. Chalmers says, Roman is so uninterested. Lone Star Friend says, Jey is irritating. He did collapse Robin, yes. Roman Empire. I think if we really want to get Roman over as a heel, he should attack Rikishi. That's interesting. Just take out as many family members as he can. All of them. Tamina, Nia, every single one that he can get his hands on. Anyone that's even remotely related to the Anoa'i family. Z2CU says, I have to say in recent years, Ricochet's Nightwing attire from SummerSlam and other awesome attires. Battlegrounds next Friday days, so can't wait. Oh yeah, that is next week, you're right. I have a feeling that we're going to see that ambulance again, says Sammy G. Curtis says we need Mia Yim on SmackDown. John says, Days, hopefully I'm going to watch Raw on the 3rd of May at the O2. They have announced the tour, so it looks like WWE are coming to the UK next year. Sadly, no UK tour this year. No UK tour at all, which, in fairness, was to be expected. I wasn't expecting them to come once we knew, like, how serious the pandemic was and that it wasn't going away and, you know, flights were cancelled. I pretty much knew that that was it, but still crazy to think we know WWE. That's got to be the first time since, I don't know what year. Honestly, you could probably go back to 91, 90, something like that. Even then, they might have come over. I'm not sure. I know for a fact they were over in 92. We had SummerSlam. 91, I know they were over. So you're probably going back to like 90. And even then, they might have been here. So I don't know. Crazy to think they're not been here at all. Days, when is the next toy hunt? I don't know. Jevin Vlogs, shout out to you. Jalen says, what does $1 million have in his backyard? What does $1 million man have in his backyard? A money tree. Haunted Radio says, Days, have you noticed the Fiend has become weak? He used to kick out at 1 after 7-8 finishers. Now he doesn't do that. Perhaps he's tired. I don't know. Be quite interesting. I mean, the Fiend is Bray's darkness, and what would be quite an interesting story to tell would be if the Fiend did start to get a little bit weaker as the character got more successful. Because why would you be frustrated and angry if you're successful now? If you're getting the championship, if you're beating people, if you're getting what you should have had all along, you know? Would you still have that same darkness inside of you? I don't know. Quite interesting. They could maybe find a way of putting that into a storyline. We're backstage with Elise. Dehydration. Here's AJ. All this has got to stop. Jeff Hardy says he's the Intercontinental Champion. Sami Zayn disappeared for months. Who's the real IC champ? Okay. What is AJ Styles saying? Well, he said he wants to prove that he is the true one and only IC champ. So it does feel like it's building to a triple threat. Dehydration is a weird... Why dehydration? It's a bit strange, isn't it? Dehydration. Why is he dehydrated? Why have they gone that way with the story? I don't know. Dave's my favourite WWE superstar is Rey Mysterio, says Beats Let's Go. So they're just showing us from Raw when Shinsuke and Cesaro showed up. Because obviously we're going to get champions versus champions on Raw, which should be fun. Nope, says Days, who do you think is the best high-flying devil out of Jeff Hardy or Shane McMahon? Well, I think Jeff Hardy does it with a bit more grace. I think he does it with a little bit more kind of... he's a risk taker, but he's a wrestler that can take risks. Shane is a bit of a brawler who tries to add to his matches by doing coast to coasts and things like that. So I kind of feel like Jeff Hardy uses it better, if that makes sense. But Shane's can be arguably a bit more spectacular. I mean, that's obviously debatable, but... Street Profits are here, by the way, on SmackDown. Cesaro says, we haven't got time for this nonsense. You go ahead and have your match. We'll get a nice scout report for this Monday. So, there we go. Nakamura and Cesaro are about to go and have their match. Street Profits are backstage. Shaz Rick. Okay, Lucha House Party coming out. I don't feel like a great deal has gone down so far. I suppose there's been bits. But, oh, man, this isn't the match that I was hoping for. Lucha House Party versus Cesaro. Sheamus. We still haven't heard from Bayley, so that should be fun. We haven't heard from... We haven't heard from Bayley. We haven't heard or we haven't seen the Bray Wyatt thing either. So we've still got that to come. So second hour should be good. And first hour hasn't been bad. They're just making us wait for the good stuff. Austin says, Lucha House Party are boring. I know. Will Heavy Machinery ever get tag team gold, asks Jason. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would think so. Kalisto trying to start a lucha chant. We've got one of them. Who is it? Lindsay. Looks like he's wearing like a Toronto Raptors inspired attire. How did they do actually? Didn't they play tonight, the Raptors? Was it today? I didn't get a chance to see. It is... Oh, it's in 15 minutes. Oh, no. So that game's starting soon. So there we go. Lindsay must be a Raptors fan. Lindsay continuing with the good attires. Days, even though Brock has lost a few matches recently, do you think him beating the streak still gives him that unbeatable feeling? Undertaker's streak was the real deal. Yeah. I mean, Brock's a massive star. I can't say I agree with the amount of losses that he's had to suffer. I think that I think that he should never have lost against Seth. I thought that was a joke. Seth was injured going into SummerSlam, and he still managed to beat Brock. I mean, it's just really bad booking for me. I wasn't really a massive fan of him losing to Drew at the time. Certainly not in the manner that Drew won. He won in like a squash in a very quick time, and wasn't a fan of that. But, you know, he's got to put someone over. I kind of wish that he'd maybe not lost against Seth and then maybe losing. I think the problem was we all knew he was going to lose to Drew. We just knew that Drew was going over. So that was part of the problem. It lost its shock factor. It lost its impact. I really wouldn't have him put anyone over until it was going to be a real shock. Could you imagine if he didn't lose to anyone? Just kept really strong and then put over Ricochet. Like, just completely out of the blue. That would have been mind-blowing. Or if they'd done a better job of, you know, not making it so obvious that Drew was going to win. That would have been better. But yeah, he's still got a big feel. The bar is back. Is the bar finally back? Let me change that over. Nakamura. Right, we are at commercial break. We are 14 minutes. 14 minutes away. Regia Productions, shout out to you. Ricochet beating Brock is very unrealistic. Depends how it's booked. You say that. He's got some skills, Ricochet. He's very quick, high flyer. Like, he could do damage to Brock without getting caught. In order for Brock to hurt Ricochet, he's got to grab him. He's got to get him. And Ricochet is able to attack from so many different angles. So many different ways that Ricochet could win. I mean, don't forget, Rey Mysterio was world champion, and everyone said that was unrealistic, but I don't know if anyone's saying that that's unrealistic now, because Rey Mysterio is seen as a GOAT. Do you know what I mean? He's seen as, like, one of the best luchas of all time. And they really had an opportunity to kind of build Ricochet up similar. Unfortunately, they didn't go that way, and I don't know what the future's going to be like for Ricochet. Seemingly not that bright, because seemingly they don't have confidence to, you know, put him up there in that main event scene. So, but I do think there's a way that they could have told that story. Here come Cesaro. We've got all the Matrix CGI on screen. Jevin says, do you want to give me a shout out? Yes. Jevin Vlogs, shout out to you. Mark says, Days, that did happen. Well, the match happened, but Ricochet didn't win it. Haunted Radio says, I'm waiting for Sancho. Yeah, I'm waiting for Sancho. As a Man United fan. Keeping everything crossed that he's going to join Man United. Shinsuke. Shinsuke. So here comes Nakamura and Cesaro. We've got all three members of Lucha House Party in the ring. We've got Street Profits backstage watching, because, of course, on Monday, we've got champions versus champions. Street Profits versus Cesaro and Nakamura. Austin says, this SmackDown has been pretty so far. I don't disagree. I'm still excited because there's still some big stuff to come. But I think for the first 48 minutes, there's been a lot of recapping. And, yeah, it's not been the strongest. But it's not been a disaster. It's not been Raw. Let's put it that way. It's not been Raw. And isn't it wonderful that there's like an hour and 10 minutes? That's all. If this was going to be like 3 hours, then it might feel like a chore. But there's still some great stuff to come. And there's only an hour and 10 left. I love SmackDown. I want John Cena, Edge, The Rock, and Goldberg to return, says Jalen. Serious Gaining says Kalisto could join Cesaro and Nakamura after losing. Calib's SNZ Gaming says, are you ready for the Firefly Funhouse? Yeah, I am. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a new puppet. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do. If it is a puppet that's going to be based on Paul Heyman, then you would have to think that they're going to be building towards Roman Fiend for after Clash of Champions. It's not Raw. It's an alright show, says Wrestling Days fan. Days Cesaro is such a great seller and worker. Oh, he really is. He really is. We're underway with Nakamura driving a knee into Kalisto. So the two members of the Lucha House Party that are competing here is Gran Metalik and Kalisto. We've got Nakamura giving good vibrations and tags in Cesaro. Love Cesaro's ring attire. I think it's really classy. It's a really great, like, black trunks with red writing. Just looks really crisp, classy. Daze, do you think Sami Zayn could have been the face of WWE if he was booked like Seth? I'm not sure. I think that he's very outspoken, which is fine, but just makes maybe a little bit more challenging to work with him. Sami gives me the impression that he doesn't really suffer fools. He doesn't really go along with things if he doesn't agree, and that's you got to applaud it. But it might also make it a little bit difficult for people to want to work with him, if that makes sense. I should imagine WWE just want to go up to people and say, can you do this, do that, and want them to say yes. And you're not going to get that from Sami Zayn. Knee strike to the back of the head. Gut wrench by Cesaro. 1, 2. Kick out by Kalisto. Hello. We've got party backstage with Street Profits. Is that Zelina? Is that Zelina? Daze, who is better, Cesaro or Roderick Strong? Very similar. Both incredible wrestlers. Okay, we've just got some people. I don't recognize who they are. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Kalisto pins Cesaro. He was distracted. Street Profits are backstage having a party in Nakamura and Cesaro's changing room area. Some of them people might be people they've used as Retribution members before. Oh, there's Shorty G. Shorty G's in there, and Matt Riddle's in there, so... Catering is here, says Butter Spark! We're getting a glimpse at Catering.
They donated $20 via a super chat. Shout out to those joining us and not indulging in chat. Love and appreciation for your individual likes and subs. We hope you are well and want to remind you even in silence you are still...
Shout out to you, William. Shout out to Mr. Hensey. We're just seeing Bayley backstage with a chair. She's got the SmackDown Women's Championship around her waist. They're just showing us. So is that the next segment? The Bayley segment? Totally into that. I can't wait to hear what she's got to say. Up next, Bayley speaks. So big segment next. Right, Mr. Hensey. Big supporter of this channel and the community, says shout out to those that are joining us and not indulging in the chat. Love and appreciation for your individual likes and subs. We hope you are well, and we want to remind you, even in silence, you are still part of our community. Oh, absolutely. A lot of love to everyone that joins us. I actually get a lot of messages on Twitter from people saying that they don't have like YouTube accounts. They literally just go on and just watch stuff. They don't drop comments or anything. So they just join on the streams, but they're never in the chat. But they're watching. So yeah, I definitely echo what William is saying there. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat, and shout out to those that join us on a regular basis, or even if you're just joining us for the first time. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone. Love all around, man. Nothing but love and positivity this weekend and every weekend. But it's good that it is the weekend, isn't it? I know a lot of people went back to school and went back to work. So I should imagine that there's going to be a fair few people that have got that Friday feeling right now, which they might not have had before, or, well, not had for a while at least, so... why, Bayley? Why? Says Spark. Chalmers says, halftime scores yet? Not yet. We'll do it at the next break. Just a touch before. So let's see let's see if this Bailey segment is going to change some minds. It's a hug fest, says John. It is. LSW says, in your face, Raw. Yeah. Kevin, shout out to you. You haven't missed much, to be honest. It's Sami Zayn attacked Jeff Hardy and really ruined the AJ Jeff Hardy match. So kind of feels like we're building towards a triple threat. Street Profits distracted Cesaro and Nakamura. Really good opening promo from Paul Heyman, but ultimately it's led to a tag match, Roman and Jay versus Cesaro and King Corbin. We're going to hear from Bailey. We've still got to go to the Firefly Funhouse. So second hour looks like it's going to be fun. It's going to be very interesting. But first hour, it's been all right. It's been all right. In your face, is that this week's Raw slogan? Shout out to you, Hunter Crawford. LSW says, Days, did you see the Raw video package that was called In Your Face Raw? I can't say I noticed. Jim Gore says, breaking news, former WWE wrestlers CTE lawsuit appeal dismissed. Right, we should be on the verge of going back. I'm going to change this little graphic down here to Bailey promo. We all hope that this week's Raw will be better than last week's, says Alan Jensen. Yes. Bailey promo time, my friends. Bailey promo time. We are getting closer to it, and I can't wait to hear what she's got to say. I wonder if she's going to say that she was carrying Sasha all this time, or never really cared for her, or I wonder how she's going to word it and what she's going to say. Juju F Baby 116 says maybe Goldberg and Daniel Bryan are with Retribution. What's this? What's this? Kofi, the real cost. No, the real cost of vapes. An anti-vape thing. Why have they done an anti-vape campaign? Okay. Well, Lucha House Party are celebrating with the Street Profits. Here's Bailey. Here we go. Yes. Yes, Bailey. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. The Queen's here. Not the Empress, that's Asuka. This is Queen Bailey. Boos for Bailey. Yes. It's hard to be mad at... I'm not mad at Bailey. I love Bailey. Bailey, Bailey, Bailey. Stepping out of the shadows, man. That's what this has all been about. Before, she was the sheep. She's not the sheep anymore. Big smile on her face as she holds the chair up in the air that she used last week. She even gets pyro. That's the chair. Massive card announced for Raw. Vampire Tier 24, shout out to you. Who do you think will be in Retribution? Well, I would love for it to be Evolve superstars and people that we haven't seen before. I'd love just a load of stars that we're going to learn about. Just think some really interesting matches. It could be brilliant. Just brand new stars, got no idea about them. They haven't come from NXT. I'd love that. But you'd have to say it looks like it's going to be NXT talent because they've been using them. Why does Kofi hate me, says Vape Ross Vape. Yes, that was an anti-Vape Ross Vape promo that they ran. They're on to you, mate. They're on to you. Bailey sits on that chair, points at the Titantron, and it's video package time! Yeah! Honestly, if you've got a rubbish memory you would love wrestling because you're not allowed to forget anything. It's impossible. You can't forget anything because there's a video package for everything. I don't even know if we get new content anymore. I'm pretty sure I've just been watching video package after video package. Days, do you want Eva and the Bellas to return? Not really. I can't say that I'm missing them. They might bring some value if they're doing like Total Divas show or something and they want to promote that show, but actually in ring, no. I think what Bayley and Sasha have been doing and Asuka, and it's been brilliant over the summer. Chunky Boy Harrison says, Days, Bayley is going to pull a Randy Orton and not say anything like when he attacked Edge. Could be right, bud. Could be right. Jordan says, feel like a majority of this episode was just recap videos. I know. I agree. I agree. Jevin says, I'm watching Despicable Me right now. Okay, fair enough. Days, Keith Lee versus Drew and Dominic versus Seth in a steel cage has been announced, says Wrestling Days fan. Gabriella says, I got goosebumps. This is sick. It's really good, man. Just seeing Bayley beating up Sasha. Slamming Sasha face first down in the ring, grabbing that chair, wrapping it around the leg, which I was horrified with. And then she changed and put it around her neck, which is even more horrific. And I do like the fact we've still got the Fatal 4-Way women's match to come, haven't we? Where it's going to be Alexa versus Nikki versus Lacey versus Tamina. I like the fact that Bayley's not facing Sasha so soon. This was a brutal beatdown. Potentially, it could end someone's career. So it's right that we're not getting the payoff so quickly. Because when Sasha returns, that is going to be fire, isn't it? When she comes back, when she's recovered from this, she is going to go, look at that. Her arm shaking after that brutal, brutal attack. Really good, man. Really good. LZ says, love from Nepal. Shout out to you. Victor, we haven't had Funhouse yet. No. Here's Bayley. Sat on the chair. Lots of boos. Lots of thumbs down. Everyone's asking how Sasha is. When's Sasha going to be back? No one's asking how Bayley's doing. Do you think I enjoyed doing that? Ding dong. Yes, I did. I loved every second. Yeah! Ding dong. The boos are loud. I mean, I know they're being piped in, but still. She says, I'm full of questions, not answers. Sasha, I know you're watching. Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you think that I'm an idiot? Do you think that I'm so naive that I didn't know what you were thinking all along? You was waiting for the right time to strike. It's true. Sasha was constantly looking at the belt. You wanted me close. Ding dong. When you saw me at the top of my game, you needed to become 2 belts Banks, didn't you? You were using me? Do you know how I know that? How do you know that? Because I was using you? I never cared about you? Thanks to you, I became 2 belts Banks. I can't tell if that was a botch. After last week. You're completely useless to me. Lots of boos. People in the Thunderdome. Okay, guys, give thumbs down now. Give thumbs down. Let Bailey see how you really feel. That was all right. That was all right. I didn't mind it. A couple of moments. I thought, did she botch that? That was okay. Great promo. Bailey is a scary cat, says TTV King. It was a definite botch. Yeah. She was like, oh, hello. Here's Nikki Cross. So, looks like we're going to be starting with this women's Fatal 4-Way. Bailey standing on the entranceway. Nikki Cross walks past. Nikki Cross is not intimidated in the slightest. Cross versus Bliss versus Tamina versus Lacey. And she did attack her. Fair play. Good for you, Bailey. Hit her again. Right, there we go. So we are at commercial break. Get your halftime scores in. Halftime scores. Halftime scores. Halftime scores. Halftime scores. Get them in. Bailey did attack her. She did, yeah, just before we went to commercial break. Britt Baker or Bailey? Bailey for me. Bailey for me. Chalmers says 6 halftime score. 6 from J14 as well. 6. 4 from Tom. 6.5 from Heather. 6 from Sunny. 7.75 from Alan. Juju F Baby 116 says, will Alexa win this Fatal 4-Way? Who is going to win this Fatal 4-Way? It needs to be a face. So it can't be Lacey. Can't be Tamina. So it's got to be either Nikki or Alexa. Nikki or Alexa, and I can't quite tell. I would feel that Alexa would make the better match. Bailey versus Alexa. But it might be Nikki. Might be Nikki. She did just get attacked there. But we have had that match already, haven't we? Hard to call. For me, it's Nikki or Alexa. 9.8765. -5 says Real American. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. John says 8 out of 10. I'm loving this show. Nikki has got puppets on her gear. I can't say I've noticed that, but I will have a look when we go back. Vampire Tear says Retribution versus Nexus versus Authority. Alexa has got to win, says David. Alexa wins with the mandible claw, says Jay. Alexa is going to get attacked, says Jordan. We've seen that match enough, says Wrestling Days fan. 4, 4, 8, 7, 4. Scores are a little bit all over the place. Little bit all over the place. 7. Will Otis cash in? What, on Bailey? I'm going to lean to no. That would make more sense, actually, doing Mandy Rose versus... Why is Mandy Rose not in this match? Where's Mandy Rose? Oh, Alexa's come down. Is Nikki going to be out of this match? Here comes Lacey Evans. Right, here's Lacey coming down. Oh, I don't want Nikki Cross getting replaced by Sasha. It's too soon. Alexa is checking on Nikki. She throws a skirt at Nikki. Alexa looks amazing. She looks like when she was doing the Harley Quinn thing from a few years ago. Tamina's already in the ring. Tamina's already in the ring. She gets a jobber entrance. I'm trying to look at Nikki's attire after someone said there was puppets on it. But I haven't had a good close-up look at it yet. Nikki thrown out the ring. Lacey going for a pin on Alexa. Slaps Alexa with that glove. Alexa gets booted down by Tamina. Alexa will join The Fiend. The Fiend will help Alexa. That's interesting. Mariana. Biggie B says Survivor Series could be a tag match, Randy or Drew, with Asuka versus Roman and Bailey. I don't think they'll go that way. Right, we've got Tamina in the ring with Lacey. Alexa getting back into the ring. She is looking very similar to when she was doing Harley Quinn thing from a couple of years ago, as we said, with her, like, pigtails. Nice drop kick. Down goes Lacey. Double knees. Clothesline by Tamina. Alexa goes down. Nikki Cross is still down outside the ring. Is Lacey a heel? She was. She was in a little feud against Naomi not too long ago. Nice suplex by Tamina, but Alexa makes the save. Bliss looks great, says Tyler. Tamina picks up Alexa. She's gone over to the ropes. Looking for a DDT, but she couldn't get it, Alexa. Big kick. Down goes Alexa. Tamina looking quite good at the moment. Alexa Bliss is going to win. Imagine Alexa is going to get hit with a finisher and then the lights go out, says Moldy Spoon. Well, oh, Tamina's getting a face run across that top rope. Big kick, though, by Tamina to the midsection of Lacey. Lacey collapses to the outside. Leaves just Tamina and Alexa in the ring. Tamina. In comes Nikki. Nikki jumps onto the back of Tamina. Gets thrown down. Big strike. And again. One more. Gets pushed back against middle rope. Drop kick to the legs. I love that. Nikki did a little run on the spot and then went against the ropes. That was fun. She just stood on the spot and ran. Like, on the spot and then went... Ultimate Warrior used to do something like that, didn't he? Do you remember? Bliss gets thrown against the ropes, goes to the outside, takes out Lacey and Tamina. What's Alexa doing? Alexa's getting distracted. Alexa's looking up. Alexa. Oh, look at this. Boom! Sister Abigail! Alexa Bliss hits Sister Abigail! Ah, that was awesome! That was so good! She was like looking up. Like, you've got to say as well, the braids that she's had done now, she's got more and they're pink. So she's got more of them and they're pink. And she was like looking up. And then she just grabbed Nikki, put her into Sister Abigail, gave her the kiss. Boom! That was nice. That was nice. Do you know what I mean? What's really cool is we all know what's happening. We all know. We can all see the braids appearing. We can all see that she's going to what, like last week, there was Rambling Rabbit in the background. Like, they're not making this hard for us to see where it's going, but still, it's great as watching it unfold. So now she's hit Sister Abigail. That was amazing. That was really cool. Alan Jason says moment of the year. James the action figure guy says, Days, what's your favourite football team? I support Man U. So I support Man U, and I also support Stourbridge, my little town that I'm from. Sonny says scenes. Ryan says OMG and scenes. Cole said the Fiend had no effect on Alexa tonight. Alexa dozed off and then Sister Abigail. Sister Bliss. Sister Bliss, you're right. Alexa Bliss is changed. Gabriella says, I'm freaking out. It's cool, innit? It's a good moment. What did you miss? Alexa Bliss hits Sister Abigail. Certain mags will come with extra gifts, and as I mentioned, last do I get one or two extra things. Hang on, Alex, do you know why certain mags come with? No, I don't know why some come with 4 or some come with 5. Maybe it's got something to do with how much the gifts are worth, and perhaps rather than the number, it's more to do with how much it costs them to make them, get them manufactured or whatever, or purchase them or whatever. So, no, I don't know why they vary them. WWE biggest fan, shout out to you. If anyone is just joining us, scenes as Alexa Bliss hits Sister Abigail on Nikki Cross. And someone mentioned earlier Nikki Cross might have like the puppets on a ring attire. But I haven't seen it. I can't confirm that yet. J.R. Pivovanic. I feel like I said that second name wrong, but shout out to you. They're just showing a replay of Sister. She hit it really well. And then I think she walked away. She just started walking off. So Alexa Bliss has gone. Doesn't she want to win? Oh, she's gone. So Alexa Bliss can't win. What's Tamina doing? Tamina's standing, clapping. There's no one there to join in. Has no one told Tamina that there's no one there? Well, Nikki Cross has got to win this now, hasn't she? Can't see Lacey or Tamina winning. Alexa left, I know, yeah, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? That's a bit, sucks. Girl, where you going? Says Sonny Wolf. She is the creation, says Butter Spark. Well, a lot of excitement. When she hit that Sister Abigail, and rightfully so. Kick out by Tamina. We've still got a Firefly Funhouse. I wonder if she'll be on the Firefly Funhouse. Do you think she'll be... Or do you think that's they're going to wait and do that in the future, maybe. Lacey climbing up. Tamina grabbing Lacey, pulling at her leg. Lacey comes crashing down in the corner. This has turned into Lacey Evans versus Tamina, and no one wanted that. No one asked for this. William says Alexa could be heading to the fun house. John says she might come back out with a mask. Oh, there's so much excitement. Moda says, I hope for Joe's sake that Alexa starts to spider walk in her entrances or walks like the girl from the Ring movie. We've got Lacey going up to that middle rope. Turns around. I love how she does that. Middle rope. She jumps up to the top, spins around, and then hits a moonsault. But Nikki Cross comes in and breaks it up. And she has got what looks to be a picture of Mercy the Buzzard on her attire, but I still can't confirm that. Love that. So athletic. Boom. Lovely moonsault by Lacey. But Nikki Cross makes the save, so Nikki Cross is back in the match after being Sister Abigailed by Alexa. What's wrong with the turnbuckles? Nothing. The one's a little bit loose, I think. Nikki colliding into Tamina, colliding into Lacey, goes for a bulldog and clotheslines Lacey at the same time too. Shoulder up, shoulder up, shoulder up. So is Alexa gonna reappear, or is Alexa gonna rip off the Linda Blair movie? Look at the Fiend in the crowd. Yeah, there is a guy that's got a Fiend mask on. Back elbow by Nikki. Nikki up to the middle rope. Kick to Tamina. Looking for a tornado DDT. Gets it. Lacey charging over. Goes for a clothesline. Nikki takes down Lacey. Going for the pin. 1, 2. Tamina makes the save. Alexa's going to return by the end. A very impressive moonsault, says Jordan. I agree. Super kick by Tamina. Lacey against the ropes into a Samoan drop, but couldn't get it. Woman's right. Woman's right by Lacey. But swinging net breaker. Oh, duck down. This is good. Good. Plants her up. Nikki Cross. Tamina charging over. It's a right scramble, this. It's a real war. It's absolutely back and forth. The past couple of minutes of this match have been excellent. Goes for a kick. Nice reversal by Nikki. 2, 3. Who gets it? Nikki Cross wins. Nikki Cross gets the sweet, sweet dub. So it's going to be Nikki versus Bayley. Obviously, the big talking point is the Sister Abigail. Cross wins it. Yep, great match, says Shay. Well, there we go. It's going to be Bayley versus Nikki at Clash of Champions. We have got a big tag match coming up. But we've also got the Firefly Funhouse. So, main event tonight is going to be Roman and Jey Uso against King Corbin and Sheamus. That match was pointless. Well, they needed to find a #1 contender. They needed to find an opponent for Bayley. I'm just really pleased it's not Sasha. We've got Otis. I wasn't expecting this. Otis on his way. It could be Heavy Machinery, actually, because he's coming out with Tucker. Otis, yeah. Oh, it's not a tag match. It is Otis. Who's he facing? So, Otis on his way. I see a connection between Bayley and Nikki because their friends betrayed them, says Charles. Do you mean Sasha and Nikki? Can we not get a photo shoot with Roman? Who's he facing, though? Otis is facing someone, but I don't know who. Right. Otis in action. Next, we've also got Firefly Funhouse. We've also got that tag match. And we've got just over half an hour to go. Just over half an hour to go. Otis versus Fiend, says Nikola Tesla's Retribution. Shout out to you. George, desperate for the Funhouse. Super Mario Plush says, what if Tucky turns on Otis? DMac07 says, the Bayley match at Clash of Champions is pointless. No one believes that Cross is going to beat Bayley. She could. She could. Because if she does beat her, the Sasha Bayley feud doesn't need the title. And we can't be too far away from Sasha versus Bayley. Sasha is not going after Bayley for the belt. That beatdown was so brutal that you don't need the belt to be involved in it. But if Nikki Cross was champion, right, you could then do Nikki Cross versus Alexa Bliss for the title. So there is an argument that they could, because Bayley's got to lose to someone. She's got to drop that belt to someone. Is it going to be that she's going to lose it to Sasha? Yeah, you've got to say that's probably most likely. But if she's not losing it to Sasha, I can see an argument why she would lose it to Nikki. Could you imagine that Sasha costs Bayley the match at Clash of Champions? What if she costs her the match? What if Sasha comes down, costs her the title? Or then you've got Nikki Cross as champion, which means you can do Nikki Cross Alexa Bliss. And then you can do Bayley Sasha as a grudge match. Interesting. I want Sasha to have the belt, says Dom15. It's about time we have a new women's champion, says Brax the Beast. Isaac Gaming says CM Punk. Alan Jason, shout out to you. Austin says if she doesn't lose it to Sasha, she should lose it to Naomi. Where is Naomi? Where is Naomi? I heard that Naomi was going to be getting a big push, so I'm very surprised she wasn't in this match. Darren, shout out to you. Bayley versus Sasha. Hell in a Cell. Be good, wouldn't it? That would be good. Hell in a Cell. I'm guessing that they put Nikki in the title picture, so Blister Alexa Gale can cost her the title. Blister Alexa Gale. Blister Alexa Gale. Ah, that's fun. Oh, we're seeing a bit more now of this woman. Blonde hair. Long blonde hair. I like this music. Are they going to show us? Wow, there's a lot of clues there, though. Blonde hair. Fur coat. The rumours are Carmella. And I have to admit, I got a strong Carmella vibe. Eva. I wasn't getting in. I don't think it's Eva. Big Show says 1987. Big Fat. Yeah! Big Show. Big Show. Big Show. I gotta say, Linda is looking on fire. Linda has never looked better, in my opinion. Linda, Linda, Linda. Come on, Days, you're a Total Divas expert. Who was it? I'm only a Total Divas Season 1 expert. To me, that's looking like Carmella. Summer Rae. I don't think she's... I mean, she was released and I haven't heard that she's re-signed. There's rumors that Eva wants to come back, but... Linda! That woman did not pop up for me. Oh, sorry to hear that. I got a Carmella vibe. It might be Carmella. Carmella isn't a new star, though. They haven't said they're bringing in a new star. It could be Great Khali. That's a really good point. Jay Shy says, it's not Carmella. She's got tattoos on her feet. It's Hulk Hogan, says Gabriella. Mr. Rotella says, whoever that was, it's now my favourite wrestler. Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke's not a bad shout. I told you he was facing John Morrison. Brooke Hogan. Fabulous. I don't think it's Lana. I think they're already doing something with Lana. She's with Natalia, so I'm not getting a Lana vibe. It's Ronda Rousey. I don't think they would repackage her that way, would they? Maybe it's Lars Sullivan. Well, look, backstage, according to Ringside News, they're told that it's going to be Carmella. And I've seen a few people talking about the tattoos on the feet, but honestly, I don't know that the person that they've been using in them vignettes might not even have been Carmella, but it might be used to bring Carmella back. Kind of similar to Retribution, you know? Like how whoever Retribution turns out to be might not be used yet in Retribution. They could still use Retribution for anyone. And it could be the same there. It could be that is going to be for the return of Carmella. Miz has stolen the little Money in the Bank lunchbox. I should imagine that it's actually in the briefcase this week. Daniel Bryan, Charlotte. Otis isn't bothered. He's doing the caterpillar. Boop, boop, boop. Boom. Drops the elbow on John Morrison. Otis, middle rope. Big splash. 1, 2, 3. Otis wins. Great Khali. Kind of like the hacker guy. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem with WWE. You can sit there and you can go, well, they've got tattoos, so it can't be them and all this. And they'll just end up just going doing whatever they want to do anyway. Like the hacker, you can analyse the voice and it could have turned out to be anyone. You can try and figure out who's in Retribution, but they could use it for anyone. You can try and look for little clues and tattoos, but they could use it for anyone. Johnny Drip Drip. It's Bray dressed as Nikki. We need Punk on Underground. Tessa? Don't think so. Don't think she's got hair like that, has she? Unless she's drastically changed. I mean, whoever it is, you would have to think is going to have long blonde hair. So, for me, Carmella and Dana Brooke, not bad shouts. Chelsea Green? Maybe. They honestly could just put makeup to hide the tattoos on her feet. Aiden English, it's a good shout. It's a good shout. It could be Mae Young before she kept getting put through tables and giving birth to hands. I have to admit that did cross my mind, but I didn't want to say it out loud. So I really I applaud your bravery for being able to say it out loud, Alex. Could it be Corey Graves? It might be. Right, here we go. There's a little sign up that says welcome. There's Huskus, there's Rambling Rabbit. Welcome. Days, it could be Sonya. Oh, that's a good shout. That's a good shout. Because Sonya said that she... The last we saw of Sonya, when she lost that match at SummerSlam, she said backstage in a WWE.com exclusive, the guy, I can't remember who it was, but it was like, Sonya, you know, how do you feel? And she said, don't call me that name again. So we are expecting Sonya to come back, and when she comes back, I'm not expecting her to have the same gimmick as she did. What if Sonya goes crazy? Like, Sonya loses, goes crazy, and decides to start dressing up as Mandy Rose? That would be awesome! And she comes back as Mandy Rose? What if she comes back as Mandy Rose? That would be dark and twisted, man. That would be cool. Sonya Deville comes back as Mandy Rose. If you can't beat them, join them. I would love for it to be Gold Dust, but sadly he's in AEW. I don't think it'll be Michelle McCool. Michelle McCool's been pleading with The Undertaker to retire for so long, and finally now, he's on the verge of walking away, and she's like, lol, I'm going to go back and wrestle now. That would be funny. Sonya was fired, though. Yes, Sonya was. But if she comes back as Mandy Rose... Mandy Rose wasn't fired. So she comes back under a technicality. Make her ring name Mandy Rose's actual name. That would be so dark, wouldn't it? That would be fun. Please be Alexa. Days, it's James Ellsworth. Velvet Sky owns those legs. Mandy Rose versus fake Mandy Rose. We need a Linda puppet to go with the Vince puppet. Trish. I don't think Trish. Sandy Doze. Sandy Doze, says Ducky Ducky. Sandy Doze. Princess Peach King Slimby says, I bet it's Tiffany from TNA or Caitlyn. It's Emma. No, she's gone to Impact. She's in Impact. Right. We don't need to worry about that yet. We've got Firefly Funhouse this Monday. In your face. In your face. What's this about, stupid? In your face. A steel cage match. In your face. Could you imagine if it was called In Your Face AEW? In your face. Tony Khan. We've got a steel cage match. In your face. Kenny Omega. We've got Asuka versus someone. In your face. We've got Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee. In your face, Cody. King Slimby says, I bet it's Tiffany from TNA. I don't know who that is. Calm down. He doesn't have the contract. He switched it again, innit? He can't even open it. He's botched it. He's botched it. Oh, yeah. Did he start to eat the contract? There's loopholes. Okay, so what was actually in there? Sandwich and eat an apple. Apple core. Foiled again. Foiled again. Oh, yeah. Right, here we go. Really glad that you're our friends. This is a friendship never, ever end. We've got Mercy. Motionless. Everyone's motionless? Mercy's motionless. Sister Abigail's motionless. Or Abby the Witch. The picture's the right way round again. He wants to get something off his chest. Thanks to Roman. Something special is missing. It's okay. How you handle loss, the less you know. Okay. Yeah, Oscars! Diddly, 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 diddly. Inside a little box is the newest member. It's going to be an inspiration. Overcome so much. Who is it? Here we go. Pasquale the Persevering Parrot? Who the hell's Pasquale the Persevering Parrot? Dave, do you think we could get Mankind versus Fiend? I don't think so. Oh, it's Huskus Eaton, Pasquale. Oh. Technical difficulties. There's technical difficulties. Pasquale, the Persevering Parrot. What's happened? Oh. He's killed him. He didn't put holes in the box. Oh, well. It happens, doesn't it? Devil Vince! Yes! You've lost my trust? You can't handle this on your own? You've lost my trust. Special advisor. Oh, there he is. Oh, look at it. Oh, it's amazing. It is a walrus. My name is Wobbly Walrus. Wobbly Walrus is here. Wow. Yowie wowie. This is such good. Oh no! To be continued. Glad that you're our friend. Well, there we go. Wobbly Walrus. I waited this long for a half man, half walrus. Yes. OMG. Wow. I honestly, can you imagine the moment that they showed that to Paul Heyman? Can you imagine his face? So not only does Paul Heyman get removed from his executive director role in Raw, they also throw shade on him by bringing in Wobbly Walrus. Wow. To be continued. WTF. That was funny. That was creepy. I very much get the feeling, right, that The Fiend is in a feud. Bray's in a feud with Roman. But they can't do that yet because they want to tell this Jey Uso story first. So I think they're having to, like, just keep him busy with something. And I think this is what they're keeping him busy with. So you've got a Firefly Funhouse this week. You'll have a Firefly Funhouse next week. And they'll just kind of keep him busy. Roman's going to do what he does with Jey. And then I bet we get some Roman Fiend action after that. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. I'm going to stay tuned for part 2. Justice for the Parrot. Paul was the walrus whilst John was the Eggman. Cuckoo Cachoo. Is that Walrus the dude from EC Dub? Yes. There should be EC Dub chants when he's on screen. Ryan says, obviously they're going to tease Alexa for a while. Can't have instant gratification. Oh, yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I was hoping for Alexa. That was kind of underwhelming. Well, to be honest, as soon as we heard, I think, was it the start of the week, that they had gone for the trademark Wobbly Walrus? As soon as we heard that, it was like, well, that's a puppet. Do you know what I mean? Unless they're really going to bury one of their talents, that's a puppet. So we did a theory video on the channel earlier in the week about this is where we think it's going, and we certainly weren't alone. A lot of people were saying the same thing. So that's what I was expecting. The surprise for me was when he announced it was Pasquale the Persevering Parrot. I was like, what? I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting Wobbly Walrus. So there was a little swerve in there. Turns out Pasquale, the Persevering Parrot, died. And so we get Wobbly Walrus instead. Sonny Wolf said, I flipping love that. Very underwhelming, says Warren. What do you think they're going to do with Bo? I have no idea, man. Wrestling Days fan says, that was hilarious. What if this Jey story is the start of The Rock's return? Could be. Wrestling Days fan really enjoyed it. It looks like Paul Heyman, says Doctor Who is Beast. Where did Alexa go? Are we going to just pretend she never did the Sister Abigail? Oh, no. No. They're just planting that seed, and you'll see her again next week, and there'll be something else that she does that hints that she's going to join Bray, and eventually she will. Days, do you think Bo will come back? Well, he's still under contract, so I'm sure they will use him, but no idea how they're going to use him at this stage. Roman versus Jey Uso, I don't know. Well, it is the match that we're getting at Clash of Champions, and I think it's really to really get across the family thing, the family element, you know. Right, how long we got? We've only got 10 minutes. Have we only got 10 minutes? This match is going to be 10 minutes. How have we only got 10 minutes? How have we only got 10 minutes? How's that happened? That's weird, man. The use of the word inspirational describing Pasquale the Parrot made me think of Bo. Right, Sheamus making his way down. We're not going to get any match here, are we? This is going to be entrances. Roman walks away. I'm like, I can't think what else they can do in 9 freaking minutes. Roman is going to squash them. Let's go. I didn't see it, but it sounded like fun. It wasn't a puppet that was like behind a table or behind a window. It was actually out in the middle of the funhouse. So it's got a head and a body. But it is just like this chunky walrus with a little like suit on. And it had like hair around the back like Paul Heyman. And you could definitely see it was Paul Heyman inspired. And he's Devil Vince said it's the special advisor. We're underway. There is no Roman. The bell has sounded. Jey Uso's looking for Roman and he can't see him anywhere. Roman, squash, and then spear. That thing was creepy, says Lennon. Morgul Matt says, I believe Alexa walked out of my dreams, got into a car, then she drove off. Okay. Roman isn't going to help. Well, did they... It's not as... I don't understand what's happened. It's not as if they've played Roman's music and he hasn't come down. So I don't get it. He's not coming? Well, they didn't give him chance to come. I don't know what happened. They played Jay's music and then they just rang the bell. For all we know, Roman might be stood in Gorilla. Like, are they going to play I'm not going out unless they're playing my music. I'm not a jobber. I'm Roman Reigns. So, big strikes by Sheamus. Shout out to Boone Docs Supreme. Fox isn't showing SmackDown now. Only a baseball game. Really? Roman's not there because this episode sucked, said John. We want Roman. I think Alexa would have been a lot better in the funhouse. He's hanging his cousin out to dry. Kevin says, what's your favourite finisher? Well, ever. You'd have to say like an RKO or a stunner. Razor's Edge was always cool. I loved the Razor's Edge. He goes over, knocks down Sheamus. Super kick by Jey Uso. Samoan drop. Roman can join a match whenever he wants. Well, I mean, in all fairness, if he comes down now, I don't think Jey Uso will complain. Glides into the corner. Do you think the mystery woman in heels could be someone like Sable? No. I don't think Sable at all. I mean, Sable would cost a lot of money. And I don't even think has got any interest in returning. Fella! Here's Roman's music, finally! I feel sorry for Roman. Finally they're playing his music, and here he comes. With the wobbly walrus! I hope Paul Heyman is going to say something about wobbly walrus. Jey Uso with a suicide dive to King Corbin. Days, those legs are clearly a Rowan repackage, says B.O.D. Jay, nice kick. Down goes Sheamus. Can't have Jay beating King Corbin and Sheamus all by himself. Here we go. Look, he's tagged. Roman's tagged. Big splash. Roman's going to get the win here. Look, Roman's like, get out. Idiot. Roman. Oh, he is so cool. Love it. Yeah, spear, Roman, Roman, Roman. Yeah, Roman wins. Roman reigns. Yeah. So good. Roman getting the job done. Yes. Roman, Roman, Roman. Why is Jey Uso not saying thanks? The disrespect by Jey Uso. So the production team don't play Roman's music, so he's standing there going, well, I can't go out with no music. They finally play it, so he comes out. He tags himself in. He's like, Jey, don't worry about this, mate. You get out. You have a rest. I'll finish this. He finishes it. He gets the win. Jey Uso's all moody. Unbelievable. The Wobbly Walrus gives the Universal Championship to Roman. Jey holds up Roman. Roman looking confused. What are you touching me for? A few little glances. Dun, dun. Wow. Christmas dinner's going to be awkward. Carmella's going to be that Wish Street woman. This show, Up and Leave, is done. What happened to that Fatal 4-Way? What Fatal 4-Way? The women's one. Nikki Cross one. Mr. Rotella says, I love that. It was cool, wasn't it? That was good. Nikki did win, yeah. Get your scores in. John says, love that show, 8.5. They've ended it 3 minutes early. They have. 758 says future compilations. 775 8 7 8 7 7. Best moment was Alexa doing Sister Abigail. I agree with that, JL. I agree with that. Cadin says 10. Brendan says 9.2. Chalmers says 675. Robin says Roman is the greatest sports entertainer right now. Roman has got Brock's schedule, says 49ers Empire. Jeremy with a 7.5. Gabriella with an 8.5. Eric with a 7. 1987 Big Fan gives it a 6. Charles gives it a 7. The dude says, I thought Roman was going to turn on him. They were teasing it. The Wrestling Kid says, what if it's Scarlett? That could be interesting. 1 out of 10 says 49ers Empire. 8.1 says Al. We've got lots of different scores here. We've got a few 4s and 7s and things like that. What I will say is, for me, I do think this was a weaker show than what we've seen in recent weeks. I do feel that it wasn't quite at the level. I mean, last week in particular was exceptional. I don't think we got anywhere near that level, but I don't think this was a bad show. I think that it was an interesting... I mean, that Firefly Funhouse, at least that Firefly Funhouse wasn't just a promo. At least we've had something there, you know, the arrival of a new puppet, which could be quite interesting going forward. Alexa with the Sister Abigail was very interesting as well. So, yeah, I do think that there was a few bits that were good here. 9.5, 9.5, 7.9, 6.75. Roman weirdly becoming what a heel Orange Cassidy would be, not wanting to show up on time, just gets in ring, one move and a pin. That's true, actually. Yeah, that's true. He's not really trying, is he? But it's working. It's work. I've got more respect for Roman now than I've ever had before. For some reason, they think that I or we really appreciate people that are going to be working hard and grinding and stuff like this. It's like, I don't really respect that. I respect someone that's cool, that comes down, just does what they need to do to win. That's what I respect. So that's what Roman's doing. Roman just won that match, and all he did was one spear. I got mad respect for that. Mad respect. And also, Jey Uso backstage was super annoying. So, I got, you know what I mean? Okay. Days, I heard they're going to reenact the finger poke of doom. I don't think so. I'm not getting that vibe. I think they want to, unless they're going to turn the Usos heel and turn it into this mega faction, that could be interesting. But if they want mad heel heat, then having Roman attacking Jey makes a lot of sense. And plus also, if you want to get to that whole family thing, and unless The Rock's going to be disappointed in Roman and the Usos, you could go that way. But, oh man, yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. Even though that might not have been as good as previous weeks, it's still a decent show, and I'm going to give it a 7.25. I'm going to give it a 7.25. For me, there wasn't really a big OMG moment. The biggest OMG moment we got was Alexa hitting the sister Abigail, which was cool. But, yeah, not on the same level as Bayley finally turning on Sasha, you know? So, for me, I can't say it's quite up there. But still a very enjoyable show, and, yeah, really enjoyed it. Yeah, boy Yoshi Sensei says, I feel the same. Mark says, Days, I heard they'll reenact the finger poke. Well, as I said, they could, because you could turn the Usos and Roman heel, but I'm not sure they will. Monica King, shout out to you. Jerome Wright, shout out to you as well. Brian gives it a 6.75. Brad says, I loved that part. Eddie says, the best part of the show was Alexa Bliss with the sister Abigail. I agree. Tyler says, I think that SmackDown wasn't as good as last week, but it's still better than Raw. Completely agree. William says, 10 out of 10. My girl Lexi hit the sister Abigail. Lexi could start using the mandible claw, and I can't wait. Days, you gave Dynamite a 7 and SmackDown a 7.25. Well, there we go. I prefer SmackDown then. I stand next to my scores. I stand by my scores. It's going to be Eva Marie. I hope not. Stephen gives it a 10. Low Key gives it a 5. AR says Lesnar helps Jey and Roman feud with the family. Mr. Rotella. Hello, my friend. Next week, Days will only show up for the main event. Just show up and stream. Yeah. I'm going to start taking his... Here's me streaming not only the shows, but doing an hour before so we can get some theories out there, talk about any news, answer any questions, just chuck a few things around, get some good vibes. I am so inspired by Roman now. I'm not going to bother with any of that. I'm literally just going to show up. You're right, Mr. Rotel. I'm going to show up like 5 minutes before the end. And I'll be like, guys, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. I didn't like this. I really like this. I'm giving the show 7.5 and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. And that'll be it. That's all you're going to get from me in the future. Oh, I love it. I think Alexa Bliss did Sister Abigail better than Bray Wyatt. Yeah, boy Maurice says Chelsea Green. Wrestling Days fan says show up and stream. Yes. Wreck everyone and stream. Oh, I should get that t-shirt. Wreck everyone and stream. Wreck everything. Not everyone. Wreck everything. Because I do. I wreck everything. Half the time I can't even set the streams up properly. Wreck everything and stream. Yes. Days, what position do you think Man you'll be? I'm going to say 4th. Maybe even 5th unless they get some more sign-ins coming in. Jonathan, shout out to you, my friend. Oh, that might read it out, actually. It depends how lazy the voiceover guy is. We'll see. He should read it out. If he doesn't, I'll read it.
Jonathan Nimel is a legend. They donated $10 via Super Chat.
Here we go.
Days, who you pick for a WrestleMania dream match for The Fiend? Days, will the Demon ever face The Fiend? Will The Fiend ever be in a tag team match? Days, can I get a shout out?
Shout out to you, Jonathan. Naimla, is it? So you want to know everything about The Fiend, his life story, future plans. Will he go into the Hall of Fame? Will he be happy? Will he ever find positivity? Who would I book a dream match for The Fiend? It's got to be Randy Orton. Randy Orton and The Fiend have got the biggest history. Could you imagine the build? Could you imagine all the stories that could be told? I mean, that's the biggest Fiend match. You could say Legends and you can say Demon King and all of this kind of stuff, but it's Randy that burnt down the compound. It's Randy that took Bray's title. It's Randy that broke up the Wyatt family. It's Randy. We've been waiting for that Randy feud for a long time, so that would be my dream match for Fiend, and I'm sure we get it. I could say Sting and things like that, but honestly, it's not a dream match. I want to see. Could you imagine if we never saw The Fiend versus Randy? I can't even imagine that happening. I can't even imagine it happening. So we've got to get that match. Days, will the Demon ever face The Fiend? I would think so. Finn said that he is going to look to bring back the Demon King. He did an interview earlier, and he said that if he could go back and do it again, he'd do it differently. He was trying to please too many people, and he was saying that, we could see it return. So, yeah, you'd have to think there's money in that match, Demon versus Fiend. So I'm going to say yes, but I haven't heard for certain that they will do it, but I'm going to say yes. Will The Fiend ever be in a tag team match? I would have to say yes. I can't imagine. I mean, like, if he gets Braun, or if he gets Bo, or if there is some kind of a group, then you'd have to imagine that he would be involved in a tag team match. So I'm gonna say yes, because I think there's a good chance that he is putting together a family. We haven't seen Braun, so we don't know what's happening with Braun. We don't know what's happening with Rowan. He hasn't showed up to Impact. He hasn't showed up to AEW. You'd have to think that Rowan's going somewhere. There's rumours that they've offered contracts back to people that they let go. So you could have Rowan. You could have Bo. You could have John Cena, because he might have turned heel at WrestleMania. I mean, Fiend and a heel Cena as a tag team. Imagine that. Scenes. And Days, can I get a shout out? Let me in. So, shout out to you, Jonathan. Thank you very much for the kind support. I appreciate it, man. It was a bit meh tonight, says Big Boy Tobias. Yeah, I mean, it didn't get to the heights of last week, but I don't think this was an average show, because I kind of feel like it was just above average. I mean, was it a 7 out of 10? Maybe. But I'm quite happy with giving it a 7.25. I love Alexa hitting that Sister Abigail. We've just got a brand new puppet introduced to the Firefly Funhouse. The Jey Uso Roman story is quite interesting. As well as that, the promo at the start I thought was fire. I thought the start of the show was good. I like what's happening with the Intercontinental Championship at the moment. Hopefully that builds towards a triple threat. So I think Clash of Champions is shaping up to be tasty, man. Really tasty. I think Clash of Champions should be a very, very enjoyable show. Very enjoyable show. Where will Arsenal finish? I think they'll be just below United. If United are 4th, I think there's a good chance they're 5th. If United are 5th, I think there's a good chance they're 6th. I think Chelsea are going to have a great year. I'm going to say this once. I have no problem saying it again. She's got blonde hair, not black hair. It can't be Sister Abigail. Big Boy Tobias says, I'm giving it a 4.75. For me, it was just, nah. It's fair enough, man. Eric says, we don't need Cena because it wouldn't be long term. It would just be Cena shows for matches and then leaves again for 8 months. Yeah, but I do think that, could you imagine if, let's say that it's going to be, let's just throw some theories out there. Let's say that the Usos turn heel. Okay, so the Usos turn heel. Roman's a heel. And all of a sudden now you've got 3 against Bray on his own. You're going to need to increase the numbers. So, you know, you could bring in Bo and Braun, or you could bring in, let's say not Bo. Let's say Braun does side with Bray. Okay, so you've got Usos and Roman versus Fiend, Braun, and a mystery partner, and you build towards this mega match. Usos and Roman makes a lot of sense. And then you could do Fiend and Braun. Braun already, you know, looked like he was embracing his dark side. He could now fully join up with the Fiend. And then you could have a mystery partner. And just, who's it going to be? And then it turns out to be a heel John Cena. That would be crazy, man. That would get crazy. That would, people would love that. So, and also, if you went that way, you could have Alexa. And because of the Usos turning heel, what about heel Naomi? What if Naomi joined up with Roman and the Usos and kind of joined up with them all turning? And then, like, The Rock could come back and be like, what are you lot doing? Have you all lost your minds? And then it builds towards Roman and The Rock. And so you could still do that. And there's quite a few interesting ways this can go. I really like these stories. So I'm really on board with SmackDown at the moment. I think some of the stories they tell are very interesting, and it's hard to know where they're going to go, but I'm very excited to see which way it's going to go. So, you can't put the Fiend in a tag match, says Ponton21. Isa Boy Charles says, this was pretty solid. Eric says, I'm not that high on factions. That's fair enough. Dallas says, thanks for the great stream. Oh, no, you're welcome. Thank you to everyone that's joined us. Really appreciate the support. As we said, if you are watching and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe. You know, try and join us next time. I mean, we are back tomorrow for UFC. Don't know what we're doing on Sunday, but we'll do some. We're back on Monday for Raw. We are very close to 204,000. I think we're about 30 subs away. So we're really not far away from 204,000. So if you are watching, thinking of subscribing, I'd really appreciate it if you took that plunge, because we are sneaking towards 204,000. And that's it. We are done for tonight. Wrestling Escape Pod's about to start. I think we'll jump over there in a sec. And obviously DJ B Tazzy later on tonight as well with his after show party and whatever. So thank you to everyone that joined. Really appreciate the support. I hope you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and hopefully I will see you again next time. Bye for now.